buckle up, boys. Time to go to work.
Isn't anyone bothered that this is stupid?
What are you talking about today?
Don't make me say the argument. You're going to make me be the guy.
Dan Patrick.
Welcome to the world of a man we call McLovin, cooking up his hot takes inside of an irrational oven. Some might call him contrarian. We call him a hater if you don't win on his terms. He's the great invalidator. It don't count.
When did you become a hater?
McLovin says that it don't count.
Anybody could have gotten out of the East.
Do it better next time.
Who is good in your world?
You probably did it in a system.
Typical.
Joe Montana and Tom Brady, they're both system quarterbacks.
Broadcasting from the Mercedes Man Cave.
The most important person in this dynasty of the Golden State Warriors is who?
Joe Lacob.
You're saying Steph Curry's the best player in the world?
Yes. By the way, Embiid, totally top 5 player.
If I said you can have Zion or you can have Luka right now?
Zion.
Oh, my God. Did he just say that?
This is Dan Patrick.
Yes, he did. Somehow made it to a Friday, a meat Friday at that. We got wings on the Traeger. Come on in, stay a while. Reggie Miller will join us from the bubble coming up in about 15 minutes. Talk some college football. Also, the PGA getting underway yesterday. We'll recap. Got a little tiff going on between Ohio State and Michigan. Jim Harbaugh and Ryan Day. Have that for you coming up as well. 877-3DP Show. Email address, dp@danpatrick.com. Twitter handle at DP Show. Say good morning to our radio friends and also our TV friends on youtube.com/The Dan Patrick Show. Competition level in the NBA bubble started out pretty high, and some of the games are still pretty good, and you got a lot of scoring. Starting to see some teams rest some starters here, like the Lakers did last night with LeBron, and I don't want to hear any complaints. These are the last 4 games of the regular season. Nobody watches the last 4 games of a regular season during a normal year. We're just noticing it because it's the bubble and it's the Lakers. But if you're a Laker fan, you're probably saying, we don't need to have LeBron out there. The Bucks fans probably don't want the Greek Freak out there either, although he looked great last night. Lakers and Bucks are the favorites, but teams like the Clippers and Raptors are right behind them. And you have a bit of an unknown right now, because people are looking at Portland, and could they be a spoiler here? Could the Rockets be a spoiler here? What about Denver? So there's a few teams we're not quite sure of, but we put a question mark by just how great they'll be if they get into the postseason. And by that, I mean Portland, because Portland had 45 from Damian Lillard last night. They're a half game out, and Memphis is limping to the finish line. The Pelicans got a great night out of Zion, but they lost their game as well. So it looks like Portland is going to be your team. I watched Phoenix against Indiana, and they had 2 of the more interesting runs that I've ever seen in an NBA game. They went on a 21-0 run and a 17-0 run. They went on to win despite shooting 9 of 34 from three-point range. Phoenix is now 4-0 in the bubble. I don't know what it means, but they're 4-0 in the bubble. But we have a couple of meaningless games coming up for the most part. And I know I talked about this yesterday. Everybody's talking about it today, and that is the Lakers' offense. Now, the Lakers' offense, unlike most of the other teams, has not been consistent, has not been explosive. We've seen some moments where LeBron goes off. We've seen some moments where Anthony Davis goes off. I don't think that they're concerned about the first round, because the teams they would be playing in the first round are not good defensive teams. But it can show, probably will show, when you get into the second round. Because if you're getting into the second or third round, chances are you can play a little bit of defense. And I think that's when it might emerge that the Lakers have some issues here. You know, their backcourt, they're not quite sure. You know, when you lose 2 players like Rondo and Avery Bradley, that just affects your rotations. And they do have a good bench, I have to admit. Dion Waiters has played well. Kuzma, Caruso. The question is, are you going to put one of those guys in the starting lineup here to get more offense? That'll be what I'm looking for as we get closer to the start of the postseason, or once we start that opening round. But Reggie Miller will join us coming up in a little bit. I mentioned the little tiff between Jim Harbaugh, the head coach at Michigan, and Ryan Day. He's the head coach at Ohio State. There was a Big Ten coaches news conference yesterday. It was a conference call. And Jim Harbaugh reportedly interrupted Ohio State's Ryan Day and accused him of breaking rules regarding on-field instruction. Harbaugh asked Day about a photo that reportedly showed the Buckeyes assistant coach Al Washington working out the Ohio State linebackers. Now, NCAA rules don't permit on-field instructions until today. So Dave fired back, how about I worry about my team and you worry about yours? Then Ohio State had a team meeting on Monday, and according to Bucknuts,
excuse me, is that a website or a person?
That's a website. Bucknuts. Day purportedly told his players that the Wolverines better hope there's a mercy rule this season because, quote, going to hang 100 on them. There is no mercy rule, by the way, in college football. When ESPN asked Day about the reported incidents during a Zoom meeting on Thursday, he declined to comment. I appreciate the question, but I'd rather not answer that right now. Well, I was in Columbus 2 years ago when they probably could have put a hundy on him. I think they put, 63 on him? And they could have easily scored 80 that day against them. And here we are going to be in Columbus if they play. Now, they moved it up a month. It was going to be, it's usually Thanksgiving weekend. Oh, boy. I would just go to tailgate and listen to the game outside. I mean, it's such a great atmosphere, certainly for that game and in Columbus and even Ann Arbor. But just to be able to go and listen, well, there's not going to be any fans there, so I don't know what I'd be listening for. But just to have that atmosphere there, looks like it'll be really, really spicy between those two. And if you're Harbaugh, this is what Harbaugh does. He doesn't win big games at Michigan, but he's pretty good in August. Harbaugh might be undefeated in the spring and in August. But we get to the regular season, there's a couple problems there. Yes, Seton O'Connor?
Yeah, if only he could translate that winning to actual games against Ohio State, then you'd really have something.
So that conference call was on Monday, and then they followed up with Ryan Day yesterday, and he didn't want to talk about how does somebody not have any audio of that? Now, this is a conference call with the coaches, but is the media's listening into this? The Big Ten has got to release this. Give us something here. We might not have football. This might be as close as we get to football here. How does somebody not record this? Yes, Todd.
Why wouldn't they want the media to record it so that they get quotes correct? A lot of times, just if you're going to a classroom or wherever you are, you're recording just so you can play it back and make sure you've got it exactly right.
I don't know. I thought that this would be something that the media is able to record and then you can distribute, or that the Big Ten would record and then distribute. All right. Pat Forty from Yahoo Sports Illustrated. Every conference is now prepared for a player movement and likely will have a quick response. They all see it as a matter of when it happens in their league, not if. There's a Mountain West player movement going on. I mentioned a couple of days ago that the source said you're going to see smaller conferences, smaller schools. They're going to opt for the spring. And you're starting to see a few more of those situations there. A few more players that are opting out. You've got a couple of first-rounders, potential first-rounders, maybe a lottery pick out of Miami, out of the U, a defensive lineman. Is that Rousseau, McLevin?
Yes, like the philosopher.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, thanks for that. Well, he's probably a top 10 pick in mock drafts right now, and he's going to opt out. I think you'll probably see a few more of these linemen, interior linemen, who are going to opt out. You have the player at Purdue, Rondale Moore. He was great his freshman year, and he's pretty much the face of Purdue football. He was injured last year. He's going to opt out as well. And that doesn't mean you can't opt back in. You don't have a deadline like you have with the NFL. But you're going to have some of these players, they're going to be maybe juniors, and they're going to go, should I continue to do this? Maybe I can get paid. May I sign with an agent if I'm going to be a first or second round pick? Maybe I can get paid. Maybe I can just concentrate on getting ready for the combine and the NFL draft. You might start to see a few more of those players. Yes, McLovin.
Does the NFL hold it against any of these players if they don't play? Can it actually hurt their draft status?
I think it depends on how good you are. It didn't hurt Nick Bosa. It didn't hurt Christian McCaffrey of sitting out a bowl game. Didn't Leonard Fournette sit out a bowl game as well?
Yeah, a lot of guys.
Yeah. I mean, it's different for just a bowl game, but Nick Bosa shut it down. And, Ohio State was fortunate that you have Chase Young, but, that caught a lot of people's attention where you're like, wow, he's not going to try to come back at all. And this is a team that was going to play for a national championship. And he was a captain. Like, that was what was surprising about that. But nothing is going to surprise me now. And you're going to remember when Oklahoma moved up their season opener? They wanted to go a week earlier. They just want to get started because I think that's the real fear, that college football is not going to get started. It feels like if you get started, then it'll be harder to shut it down. And, is that the philosophy that Oklahoma had? Maybe. Let's just get going. And then we'll see what the collateral damage is from week to week as we move forward here. But you're starting to see some of these conferences, they're moving games back. You want to have this window of opportunity that you want to get the games in. You'd love to have them over by Thanksgiving. And then you don't have, students won't be on campus then. They'll go home for, the winter break. And maybe you'll be playing in a conference championship game. Maybe you'll be playing in the playoffs. You're seeing the playoffs in Division 2 and 3. They're canceled. I don't know if you're going to have that in FCS. But right now, it just feels like this is a moment-to-moment, day-to-day, almost hour-to-hour with college football. We'll talk to Pat Forty. He'll join us coming up in a little bit. Yes, Paulie.
Oklahoma felt like a bunch of guys painting a house before a rainstorm. Like they're just trying to slap it together, get it done before the big cloud comes in. That was their move. It was. I see what they're going for.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if it's going to work. I don't know. But, this could be just a conference by conference. What are you going to do? I don't know. What are you going to do? All right, we're going to try to play here. I don't know if you're going to have many other schools that are going to follow the UConn model because, keep this in mind with Connecticut. Randy Edsall yesterday was very good, very open. A lot of people on social media saw that and reacted to it. Do I think the bottom line is the safety of those players? I'm going to say no. I think the bottom line is money. I think you have to factor in those players and their safety and their opinion. But I think Connecticut was going to lose money if they played football this year or tried. Plus, they're an independent, and they lost their marquee games. They had a couple of games with the ACC, a couple of games, I think, with the Big Ten, and they're an independent. And they shouldn't be in FBS anymore. They should drop down to FCS. They're not a big money-making program there. And while I appreciated Coach Edsall coming on and saying, that he listened to his players, I hope he did. I hope all of these coaches do because they deserve to have a voice here. They don't have a union. And coaches can go through the motions and say, hey, we took the temperature. We talked to our captains or whatever it might be. I hope that they get a voice. They get a chair at the table where they can at least express concerns that they might have. Can you opt out and still keep your scholarship? I'm assuming that the Connecticut football players not playing this year, they keep their scholarship. They didn't opt out. The school basically did. But what about these other kids around the country? Can you still keep your scholarship? Yeah, McLevin.
This is kind of a question for all of you. Why can't UConn be good at football? They have they have a great stadium. They were like in the Fiesta Bowl like 8 years ago. They obviously have the capability. Why don't they rev it up and be good instead of going down?
Well, they're an independent. I think they rolled the dice, thought they were going to get into the ACC or some bigger conference would take them. They were in the Big East, but you're on an island. Notre Dame can survive on an island. Connecticut cannot. It's just not that program has been going down. It feels like every single year. And, can you recruit there? Who are you recruiting against? And it's a basketball school as well. All right, we'll come up with a poll question, right, McLovin?
Yeah, I mean, I have one I want to put out there. You might think this is the wrong question to ask, but
Why don't you hold off?
okay.
Because we'll take a break. Reggie Miller will join us from the bubble, and I'll ask him, got any suggestions on what the Lakers might do to get that offense looking a little more formidable? It's 15 after the hour. This is the Dan Patrick Show. Full Sail University, we've launched the Dan Patrick School of Sportscasting. You get your bachelor's degree in sportscasting, teaching you all aspects of broadcasting, sportscasting from in front of the camera, behind the camera, podcasting, radio, and everything in between. How to write, how to interview, all of these things that when you come out of the school, you're ready to go. It's plug and play because I want you to have a job, not an internship, a job. And there's so many things to love about Full Sail. The approach to education, they have hands-on learning. The faculty that we have is second to none. They have real-world experience, and they prepare you for what life is like in the industry because they have been in the industry for decades. At Full Sail, you earn your bachelor's degree in about half the time, as short as 20 months, and you could choose to earn your degree online or on Full Sail's campus in Orlando, Florida. To learn more about the Dan Patrick School of Sportscasting, go to fullsail.edu/Dan Patrick. Just want to let the nation in on something here.
Okay.
It's rare when I come in here, but I thought I should because we have a lot of cameras. We have 11 cameras. Well, I tell the Danettes we have 11 cameras. We might have a few more cameras than that. So I go in the back room. A friend sent me a care package of candy from the Mars Company. So I put it back there, and I figure guys come and go if they want something. And then for the last couple of days, I'd look and see an open bag of M&M peanuts. And I go, well, who opens them and then leaves them in there? And then I saw an M&M peanut there was a bite out of it, and then it was put back in. So I had to get a hold of the powers that be to release the special footage from the special camera that's in the back. And, we bust McLovin. And I'm not surprised it's him. The boys in the back who stab him in the back all the time said, that's the guy. He's a bad guy when it comes to that. So the footage showed that. So I don't like doing this. I really don't. But it feels like I've got to be the bad guy here. And I'm not the one who opened up the peanuts. McLovin did. But why do I feel bad? There are times I just want to stay in here and not come out. Like right now. Because if I go out, McLovin's going to have some lame excuse, sabotaged. Guys in the back don't like him, which is true, but I just want to go home. I'll just stay in here if you want to go get some random footage of the Danettes doing random things. It's kind of a safe spot, safe place for me. Wake me up when the show starts again, okay?
What are you doing, drills?
You know how I am, attention to detail.
Can you give me a hint?
Well, I mean, look at this. It's a masterpiece.
Yeah.
But
The cricket?
do you hear the cricket?
Yeah, so the cricket made its presence known last night.
We should just get a lizard.
You know, Marvin went and started like mugging he started getting in his face. So if you go over by the Dodgers, he'll stop talking. Watch.
I think we just get a lizard.
Yeah.
Let it loose in here, it'll eat it, and then
See,
problem solved.
he's lying in wait until we leave. Can you open this, Dan?
You know, I hate to steal this joke, but Tyler, the creator, said to me this morning that Todd was doing stand-up out here.
Oh man, I think he's in here.
That's a good line. That's a strong line.
Wait,
Look at that little bugger.
Do you see him?
I'll bet he's in the door.
Might be.
I bet he said about.
It definitely felt like he was coming from like right there.
He's really loud.
Now it's going to bother me.
Maybe he just got crushed as the door went.
Seton, come on back in.
All right,
That's going to ruin my day now.
I like it. It feels like we're indoor outdoor.
Remember we did the giant fireworks shoot
That-
here? That felt
That's
like-
usually the sound you hear when
That
Todd's
was the,
telling a joke.
The launch promo for
That's
the
not
new
nice.
studio we had been in for 3 months.
Crickets.
Reggie's wearing a
You mean
Shazam
that,
shirt.
that one?
Shazam!
It was actually incredible when you have you seen it lately? It is brilliant.
This program brought to you by LegalZoom. You can start online with their network of independent attorneys. They provide advice when you need it the most. And since LegalZoom isn't a law firm, you don't have to leave your home. Visit LegalZoom.com today for more information. It's rare when I'm the second best shooter on the show. It only happens occasionally. It certainly happens right now because Reggie Miller is on the program. Reggie called the Heat and the Bucks game, the Lakers-Rockets, and tonight, Celtics-Raptors at 9 Eastern. Good morning, Reg. How are you?
I'm great, Theodore. Good morning. And I would put us as equals.
No, that's not true.
No. Hey, you're up there with me. That Dayton shot of yours,
No.
I'm telling you.
No. Do you realize, I don't know if I ever told you this story, when we had Ray Allen in studio? And,
No.
Okay. So I'm watching Ray shoot in the man cave. And I said, hey, the ball is resting on the palm of your hand, Ray. So I'm critiquing. So one of the top 10 shooters in the history of mankind, I'm going.
You can put him in top 5. Ray's top 5.
Okay.
Ray. Yeah.
The look he had on his face. Yes, Eaton.
I believe the exact quote when you first talked to him was, you're doing that wrong. Like, what, dude?
I don't know what made me say it, but, you shoot with your fingertips. He had it on his palm. And he goes, like, what are you talking about? I said, I should be able to put my finger underneath between the ball and your hand. Am I right with that, Reg?
You're right with that, but listen, it goes to show you that shooting are like fingerprints. Everyone is totally different, and everyone has different release points. My elbow is out when I shot. Ray has textbook form with his elbow being in. So everyone is different, but the fact that you would correct the all-time leader in three-pointers made in the NBA, I mean, it's why you're Theodore, though.
I don't lack confidence when it comes to shooting.
You do not.
And you're right. You have your elbow out. And I remember when I was shooting and we had a basketball hoop at the Super Bowl in Indianapolis, and Larry Bird was watching, and Larry came on and he said, your elbow, it's out. And he was critiquing my shot because my elbow was out, just like yours. So, all right. Yeah, just letting you know.
Hey, does the ball go in?
Yeah, exactly.
It goes in. Yeah. That's all that matters.
Do you realize I'm still trying to perfect my shot at my age with nothing to play for? Do you do that?
I do when I do. It's like golf. Even professional golfers still take lessons and they still critique themselves. And I think shooting and playing the game of basketball is a lot like golf because there is no such thing as perfection. And it's interesting because when I was calling the Lakers games last night because their offense right now it's like been on hiatus. It has not found its way to the bubble yet.
Yeah.
And they were playing so great up to that point, and their shooting. If you look at their numbers, I believe we mentioned it over their last 2 games. They're like 6 for 50 from 3. And you're wondering, is it legs? Do they have? Are they tired? Their offense does not seem to be in sync. And this is with LeBron. I know LeBron didn't play last night, but 2 nights ago versus OKC he played.
But how concerned would you be if you're a Laker fan right now?
I said this on air last night. I understand they have the number 1 seed in the West, and they are trying different things and trying to figure out. But you've got to have some type of rhythm going into the playoffs. And everyone is in a unique situation here where I wouldn't be as concerned if they were playing in Staples in front of 20,000 fans and you get that energy and you get a little pumped up. You are in a unique environment where home court will not matter. And if you don't have a great rhythm starting the playoffs on August 17th, to me, that's the only thing that's a little unsettling, is because they don't have a rhythm yet offensively. The only team in the bubble, the Lakers, with LeBron James and Anthony Davis, that are not averaging 100 points.
Yeah.
With those 2 great players, it's a little concerning for me.
Everybody is scoring in the bubble except for the Lakers. But is there a reason why everybody is let's take the Lakers out of the equation. Why is it that scoring is up so high?
I think the big thing is teams are manufacturing their own energy. And there's less pressure on some teams because usually in their home court advantage, like for instance, Philadelphia before Ben Simmons got injured. Every time he caught the ball at home in Philly, everyone wanted him to shoot threes. The crowd would gasp. There's pressure playing in certain environments and situations. In the bubble, there's no fans. There's no degree of pressure. It's really who wants it more. And I think you're seeing, especially some of the elite guys like a Devin Booker, it doesn't matter if he's playing in front of 20,000 or 2 people, put on absolute shows. TJ Warren. These guys have got a new lease on their games because they're just going out and playing. And I think that's why scoring and shooting is up, because more guys and teams are playing more free and open.
I don't know if you heard this. It was like a throwaway line from LeBron where he talked about something off the court. But he said, I don't want to get into that now. I think this might have been after the game that he had the quote. I don't know what he's alluding to here, but just the fact that you mentioned that he mentions it, now my curiosity is piqued of, wait, what is bothering him so much so that he would bring it up during a press conference or kind of bring it up there? I don't know if you heard that comment from him.
I didn't hear, but let's remember now, there's so much going on. We're in the middle, obviously, of a pandemic. These players still want to have their voices heard in terms of social justice. So there's still things surrounding and affecting these guys while they're in the bubble. So, you don't know if he's alluding to something off the court in terms of his activism, or if he's talking about something internally that's going on with the team.
Yeah.
It's hard to get a gauge on what's going on with the Lakers or LeBron. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure that's a red flag comment coming from LeBron, who sat out last night with a little bit of a growing issue.
If you had to bet a week's pay on the Lakers or Clippers right now, today.
I'm going with the Clippers.
Yeah.
I just think they're deep. How they play the game in terms of their length. They got Lou Williams back. I know Beverly didn't play last night, but to me, they are the favorites to win the West because of that depth, and they've got 2 guys, in Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, who can dictate the outcome of a game at both ends of the floor. And both are young, both have experience in the playoffs, well coached by Doc Rivers, who's won a championship. I personally would lean towards, especially after looking at the offense,
Yeah.
For the Lakers, I'm leaning towards the Clippers in this type of environment.
Third best team in the West is who?
I would probably go with, I want to put Denver in there, but they've had so many injuries and they don't have their starting lineup. Though the way Michael Porter Jr. is playing, and they still have Jokic, who looks great. OKC, people are not giving Chris Paul enough credit for, everyone thought it was going to be a pit stop for him this year. And he has Oklahoma City playing at a very high level. In terms of, scary teams, I've got to put the Houston Rockets in there in this looking at them last night. If they are making shots, look, they're going to get killed on the boards. We've seen that. They're getting out rebounded by 20 a game. But if they can turn you over, which we've seen, and they can get out in transition, and they've got two guys that flat out put pressure on you offensively on every possession in Harden and Westbrook, I would probably have to say the Rockets are probably the most scary team because of the unpredictability of what they bring with that 6-7 lineup and being able to switch everything. And PJ Tucker defensively, what he did last night versus Anthony Davis was phenomenal at the defensive end.
Reggie called the Heat and Bucks last night, along with the Lakers and Rockets. Tonight, it's Celtics and Raptors. That's 9 Eastern on TNT. Here's the exact quote from LeBron. He said, "It's just some things that you can't control that's here that I really don't want to talk about. That's off the floor." So I don't know what he's alluding to. I'm assuming that has to do with something internally with his team, maybe not in his personal life. Maybe he's sending a message to somebody on his team. I don't know. Kind of cryptic.
It is, but it raises more red flags because when LeBron speaks, obviously everyone listens, and that's a loaded answer to a question right there. And more people are going to probe and try to find out what is going on with the Lakers, especially just by gauging the way they're playing.
The last couple of days, we've had some people comparing a couple of players to Larry Bird. Greg Popovich said Jokic reminds him of Larry Bird because he does everything. And then you've got a few people comparing Luka to Larry Bird here. Pretty high praise for these two players. Of those two, who's more like Larry Bird, in your opinion?
Luka.
Okay.
I love Coach Popovich, arguably one of my favorite coaches in the league. Both are talented in Jokic and Luka, but in terms of Larry Bird was a straight assassin scorer. He would put 35 on you in a half. I don't think, and he had that killer instinct. Luka more has that killer instinct offensively and can pass the basketball. He just doesn't have the size. Larry was a true 6'9", a big, long 6'9". 7 foot is the Joker, and he doesn't have that killer instinct offensively. He can score, but he's not trying to come in each and every night and embarrass you. Luka tries to embarrass you, I think. So in terms of who's closer to Larry Bird, in my opinion, it would be Luka Doncic.
And watching the game with the Clippers and the Mavs, and while Porzingis and Luka had good games there was something that was interesting, and that was Kawhi all of a sudden went into playoff Kawhi mode. Yeah. And wow, like it's tangible. You're watching it and you go, uh-oh. And then he said afterwards, like he's getting locked in. And he doesn't say much. I don't know much about him, but that was a look, or there was a feel to the game. And I know it's the Mavs, but I saw something that is I rarely see, where you see somebody go, I'm going to flip a switch. Now I'm a different player, a different person. And Kawhi was like that last night.
And to your point, when you just asked me Lakers or Clippers, and then you tell me about the quote from LeBron, something's going on possibly internally with my team. And on the flip side, you hear the Clippers and Kawhi saying, I'm getting locked in, right?
Yeah,
so
I know.
It's two different things. And Kawhi, when we talk about being able to affect the game at both ends, look, Luka is a fantastic young player, but Kawhi Leonard looks at that as a challenge, right? And they potentially could face in the first round. I believe Dallas is currently in the 7th spot and the Clippers in the 2nd spot. So this is a potential first round matchup. And you've got Kawhi and Paul George saying, oh, okay, well, we're going to give you something to think about in about 10 days when we see you. And I think they're trying to send a message.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure this out, though. And it feels like the Clippers are just quiet. They don't want to make any headlines unless they go to a strip club. They just want to go. They're just waiting. Where, everybody focuses on the Lakers. Either good or bad, they're the focus. That now they're shooting. Now they're offense. Now this is a big deal as, we end up with the regular season. Clippers are just, they're approaching it the right way from the standpoint of not saying anything. They got a deep roster there, got a great coach. And you got one guy who's done it before a couple of times. That value of having a player who's done it. And those other Clippers players are going, he can do it. Like, I'm waiting for Paul George to be a big-time player. I'm waiting for that just like I am Anthony Davis. Those are the two guys that I want to see. So I think which one of those two steps up in a bigger way might decide who wins between the Lakers and the Clippers. I think that much of Anthony Davis' ability to be able to dominate. What do you think?
Well, Theodore, look, this is Doc Rivers' slogan coming in to the restart: win the wait. And right now, and rightfully so, the pressure should be on the Lakers. You go out and get LeBron James, generational type player. You add Anthony Davis. They have the championship. They have the Hall of Famers. They have all the banners hanging in Staples. For so many years, the Clippers have been, the little brother. So there's less pressure on them, and I think they're approaching this the right way. That's why all the pressure is on Anthony Davis. You've been first team All-NBA. You're in line for Defensive Player of the Year this year, but you played in New Orleans. You wanted out. You got out. You came to the mega hot Los Angeles Lakers. We mentioned all the Hall of Famers, centers, and power forwards that have played in this organization. So the lights are a little bit brighter now. It's time to shine. You can't come out and take, 7 shots and have, 9 points, and then the next game you come out and have 40. The consistency has to be there for AD. And for the flip side, for the Clippers, remember, Paul George was runner-up MVP last year while his time in OKC. Now he's had to take a back seat coming to the Clippers because you've got a guy who's won 2 Finals MVP in Kawhi Leonard. But I like the chances of the Clippers because of that length and what they can do at the defensive end with all those perimeter players, Theodore.
Every time I watch the Pelicans, I go back to a comment you made that Brandon Ingram wasn't a big city guy, that he needed to get out of L.A., and that New Orleans was perfect for him. Lonzo Ball had to get away from his dad and the whole pressure there, and that it feels like he is like these guys were able to exhale. It felt like They got there. But look at this lineup here and what the Pelicans have as they move forward. If you look at the nucleus, would you be confident that this is a perennial playoff team in what you have in New Orleans? And if not, what do they have to have?
Well, is Zion going to be healthy and play 32 to 36 minutes a game?
Do you think he can do that, Reg? Because
he hasn't shown it, right?
I don't know if he's. I think he's great, but I don't know if he's. There was an article yesterday. A doctor said he's in a race against his body. Of as big as he is he always going to be this explosive? And then what do you rely on when you're not that explosive? And he's going to get bigger. So I don't know.
I hope he doesn't get bigger because. Look, I love the strength and the power that he plays with. Don't get me wrong, but I personally believe he is too heavy to be playing this. And I think that's why they have kid gloves on him right now.
Yeah.
I think they're managing his minutes because they don't want a major injury because I believe he is too heavy. He needs to shed, they kept saying, during the 4.5 months, he put on, 10 pounds of muscle. He doesn't need muscle. He needs to be a little bit leaner. So those the knees and the lower back, there's not so much pressure on there. So I hope going forward, if they're going to manage his minutes, they need to manage his food intake because he needs to take off 15, 20, 25 pounds if he wants to play 32 to 36 minutes and play 70 to 82 games next season, which they're hoping for, the league is hoping for.
Yeah.
But he needs to lose weight.
But do you remember facing a young Charles Barkley when he was the
I do.
the whatever, the large round
The
mound
of rebounds.
Yeah.
But did you see how Charles moved when his early days in Philadelphia? It's a lot like a Zion. I think Zion was probably a little bit more powerful, especially in his finishes and his dunks. But Charles never got hurt. And he was able even extend his career by losing weight the older he got.
Yeah.
I just think Zion, he looks a little heavy to me.
Oh, he is heavy, but he's putting up like a point per minute when he does play. So it's
Play him then.
I know.
Play him.
I know. Reg has got Celtics Raptors. So you're doing that game tonight?
I'm doing Toronto, Boston.
Okay. My Raptors.
Everyone keeps talking about. What did I say last week when you asked me the?
Oh, I know.
Thing?
I know.
And what have they done so far? They're undefeated here in the bubble, and they're taking names. And
I know.
A scary team.
Yes, they are. He's Reggie Miller. He'll be on the call tonight. Reg, good to talk to you. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you at some point next week.
Thank you, Theodore. Thank you, my Danettes.
We'll take a break. Play of the day is up next here on the Dan Patrick Show.
Dan, big day today. One of my favorite days of the year. It's National Lighthouse Day. See, you know how much I enjoy lighthouses, right? Whenever I'm on the
You're
road.
the lighthouse guy on the show,
Yeah.
for sure.
Oh.
That's,
Andrew, don't even
we
try.
always say that about you.
You could have lighthouses.
Sign of New England.
You're the shark guy. And Fritzy, you're the Mountain Dew guy. I'm the lighthouse guy. I love lighthouses. I always visit them. I've always dreamed, Dan, daydreamed, I guess you'd say, of owning my own lighthouse. I know you think I'm joking, but you remember when I brought this up years ago to you? You know, like, you got the little home there, the little outbuilding, and then the lighthouse. You can go
Well,
up
I
there.
could live in that.
Well, yeah, that's like an
Yeah, that
extreme
one's pretty
version.
cool.
That's an extreme. You got a whole house.
Have you seen the movie with Willem Dafoe and Robert Pattinson?
No, I'm not a big Robert Pattinson.
They live
You're a
in
lighthouse,
the lighthouse.
guy, though. Yeah, they live in a lighthouse.
I love Willem Dafoe. I don't like Robert Pattinson. I don't like.
You would like him in this movie,
Okay.
and you wouldn't want to live in a lighthouse after this.
Is there a lighthouse too?
Even just for the lighthouse.
No, well, I don't want to ruin the ending.
Okay.
They go crazy, right? Kinda, or
So that
Some might be crazy already.
I'm gonna watch it this weekend.
No, you won't.
I will. I promise. So that would be like a who wouldn't want to live there?
Yeah.
Who wouldn't want to live there? Now here's one that might be tougher. That's I think that's in Rhode Island, and it's just that. That's it. That's the entire property.
You'd go crazy.
Maybe, but I did some research on lighthouses. I'm not kidding. I've looked at this before. This lighthouse is available. It's a little island off the coast of Maine. It has power with it has a little building there, little one-bedroom building behind that. The lights work. It has solar. It's $5,000 to buy that. That seems like a steal.
For what?
The whole island and the
Yeah,
light.
what are you going to do with it?
Live there for a while.
You can't live there. It's
Sure.
there's like no room there. There's no space there.
Oh, there's a little building behind there. It's like a one-bedroom. Like it tucked
And I
in
think
behind.
a Dunkin' Donuts and a Stop and Shop are being built off to the
If
side.
you
there.
moved there, I'm sure you would bring one in.
So you're saying within that cylinder, there's no rooms like on the base of that?
There are rooms as you go up.
Yeah,
They
there's
kind of have
little
a
rooms, right?
platform.
They're all circular.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever been in a lighthouse?
No,
Yes.
I have no idea.
It's uncomfortable.
There's definitely not rooms in them.
Oh, okay.
There's platforms.
There's maybe a platform,
floor.
so then you can go like this to the next bit of stairs,
Yeah.
and then you walk up.
right.
Oh, there's no room there. I've never
If
been
you
in
can
one. I thought there
sleep
was.
while you're wrapped around a
Right.
stairwell.
Well,
the
yeah.
inside of that might be as wide as
If
this
you're-
area.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's how it would be. You'd be
Right.
wrapped around the stairwell.
It's not so bad.
No.
Yeah, right. Next year you're like this from always. Oh, this is good. That's
Yeah.
the best $5,000 I ever spent.
Haven't seen Paul in a while. What happened to him?
Best $5,000.
You would go crazy if you lived in there.
In a good way?
Do you go crazy in a good way?
Yeah. I'm still looking, man. I'm still shopping.
Like if Van Gogh went crazy in a good way, I guess, then. But he cut off his ear.
People still talking about him.
Well, cut off your ear. You don't have to go to a lighthouse.
The eyes already go.
Prepare for cross-check. Let's light this candle, DP. This is what we trained for, buddy. 10.
Dan, this is Houston.
9. You ready for liftoff? I'm ready, boys.
Godspeed, Dan.
Let's get this thing over with. 4.
This is the big one, DP.
The world is watching you, Dan.
Let's make some history.
1. We're all counting on you.
You clear to take off.
Dan, this is Houston. This is what we've worked for.
Be careful, Dan. The world awaits. 1 small step for Dan. 1 giant leap for Dan's time.
Play of the day.
Runner left side, got it!
We're gonna play it and play it.
This is the play of the day.
Check this out.
1-2 pitch. Hit in the air. Deep left field. Going back is Jimenez. On the warning track, he has room, but he drops it. And it is a fair ball, and it rolls into the corner. Yelich is around second. He's headed for third, and he's going to try to make this an inside the park home run. The throw home, not in time.
Play of the day, Christian Yelich. Legs out an inside the park home run. Brewers win 8-3. They'll host the Reds tonight, courtesy of 620 WTMJ. Yelich has started out. He's really struggled. 4 hits and 36 at-bats so far. Your play of the day is brought to you by Raycon. BuyRaycon.com. You'll love these wireless earbuds. Get 15% off by just listening to this program. BuyRaycon.com/Patrick. McLovin, what do you have for me today as a poll question?
We actually already put up, if you had to bet on one of these two teams, the Lakers or the Clippers, coming out of the West, who would you pick?
Okay.
Just put it up right now.
I'm going to guess the Clippers are going to win this. I think because of the uncertainty with the Lakers, you know, when you're the number one seed, you tend to overlook some of the blemishes there. And now all of a sudden it's being brought to light as we get ready to start the postseason. Look, this could be real, could be manufactured by the media that this is a real problem. You know, once the playoffs start, you know, LeBron's going to take over. Anthony Davis hopefully takes over. It's not a deep team. It feels like they're going to be hot and cold. Their nights are going to be hot and cold. Whereas the Clippers probably are going to have a little bit more consistent performance throughout the postseason. Kyle in California joins us. Hi, Kyle. What do you have for me today? Hey, Kyle.
Good morning, boys. Happy Friday.
Thank you.
EP, I was listening to the interview with Reggie. Love hearing from Reggie. I do have to push back a little on the Lakers having more pressure. That seems like the automatic answer. But if you strip away the purple and gold and LeBron, you're looking at a Clippers team who gave up 4 first-rounders, a young star in Shai Gilgeous, Danilo. They sold the farm. They sold their soul to try and win it, and they only signed these guys to a 2-year deal. If you don't win this year, then everybody's talking about how, we only have 1 more year with Kawhi and Paul George. Better get it done.
I think those are really valid points, Kyle. I'm glad you brought that up. I think the pressure on the Clippers will be next year if they don't win it this year. LeBron's window of opportunity is closing. He wanted Anthony Davis. He wanted some of those younger players shipped out. He got what he wanted. There's always pressure on LeBron. There's more pressure on LeBron because of the bigger picture of what it means for his place in history, his legacy. There's more pressure, and the Lakers are obviously the team in Los Angeles. There's more pressure on him. Not as much on Anthony Davis as there should be, but there will be. Not much pressure on Paul George, but there should be. Kawhi gets a little bit more of a hall pass with this, just because of coming off a championship. He's got 2 that he's won, but come playoff time, the Clippers to me have a better team. But I think that if you said I could have Paul George or Kawhi Leonard, or I could have LeBron or Anthony Davis, I'm taking LeBron and Anthony Davis come playoff time. We know that LeBron can do it. We know Kawhi can do it. It's going to come down to, is Paul George a great number 2 guy, a consistent? Is he going to be able to put up some big numbers to complement Kawhi? Now, they have other guys that are able to provide a lot of different offense for them. The Lakers are a little bit, more offensively starved. Kuzma's got to be more of a threat. I was waiting for him. Maybe his growth is stunted there by playing with LeBron and Anthony Davis. But he does have that potential to be a 20-point scorer. They just shipped out the 20-point scorer in Brandon Ingram. Yeah, Paul.
You're talking about pressure, but what about maybe the player who would have the most to gain for winning the title if you took away LeBron and those guys? James Harden is a regular season phenomenon. His numbers are crazy if you look back at him, what he's doing right now. But in the past 7 years, he's got 2 Western Conference Finals losses and a lot of playoff appearances and a lot of numbers, and that's it. Most to gain. Yeah.
I'm trying to think who else would be on that list, because LeBron has a lot to gain as well with a third team doing it in the West, and then that gets him to 4 titles here. So he does have a lot to gain. Kawhi getting a 3rd title with a 3rd team, if he did that before LeBron did. Paul George finally winning a big game. Who else would I put on that? Yeah, McLevin.
Is Giannis on that list yet?
Close. Because if you win a title, now all of a sudden you're the best player. There's no argument there. And maybe there is no argument, but I think people still look at LeBron James or Kawhi Leonard crunch time instead of the Greek Freak. But it's getting close there. If you're going to get there, or you're supposed to get there, then you're supposed to win a couple of these titles there if you're that great. But that may come down to, is Chris Middleton able to be great? So all of these teams, or most of these teams, have that one figure that you count on. It's the other guys that you don't know if you can count on. Yeah, McLevin.
I took your assignment yesterday. I watched the Mavs. Those guys who aren't Porzingis and aren't Doncic are not great.
I told you that you should give Doncic credit, because that's not a good team.
Who are they? There are a lot of teams I watch in the bubble. I don't know the names.
It's like you turn something upside down, and then whatever falls out, then you get that. Like you have a drawer, and you turn upside down, and some change comes out. No dollar bills come out, but some change comes out. So that's what the Mavs got. They turned the drawer upside down, and they got a penny and a nickel and a dime, and there's a quarter there. So we're going to go with that as the poll question?
Yeah, we have some other options for hour 2 and 3 as well.
Pat Forty from Sports Illustrated will join us. I wonder what he thought of the back and forth between Ryan Day at Ohio State and Jim Harbaugh. I loved it. And also, has he got more confidence this week than he did last week that we're going to have a college football season? That's coming up. Dan and the Danettes, Dan Patrick Show. you have to do your draft profile. Things said about you going into the draft, and we took out all the positives.
Yeah. So you just gave me my draft profile.
Yes. All right, go ahead.
Can be baited out of position when in zone and a tick late to diagnose underneath routes. Tall, high-cut prospect who delays some hip stiffness. Not explosive when transitioning or when changing direction. Lacks great recovery skills when beaten off the line. Can struggle tackling an open field at times. Questionable speed overall. Has a high back pedal and loses a step in transition. That's not what they just said earlier at all. Allowing receivers to separate. When he misjudges their route, he looks beaten.
Wow.
Is especially susceptible to smaller, quicker receivers. Was a late injury replacement to the Senior Bowl. While he helped his cause with a solid performance, their pessimists will argue that he had the freshest legs.
Damn.
Oh, that's horrible analysis.
Oh, thank you.
And what's crazy is this is kind of like me going out on the field and getting beat really bad on a couple routes. And then I would get cut for that. But people who wrote this deal with nothing. It's just like, well, we guessed that one wrong.
Yep. Now, we're not going to shoot these at you.
Yeah, I still have a little bruise.
This time we're going to throw these wooden blocks.
Throw them at me. I still have a little bruise on the side.
Oh, stop.
I do, though.
What are you doing in here?
I just wanted to join the dice game, whatever you guys
Apparently these are...
This is a big... So I roll my dice, and then we total this up.
Oh, I thought those were like a Nerf at first. Those are like wooden blocks.
I thought these were more like juggling.
Those are like wooden blocks. Those are not like
that was an option.
Oh, well, Seton shot Fritzy numerous times.
DNA is on like half of those.
Okay, so I just go...
Or you can get a large straight. If you get a 3 and 4.
Hold on, Andrew, can you add that up for me? It's going to take...
13. Thank you, Todd. And you didn't have to cheat off somebody's
Oh,
paper, Todd.
I didn't. I did that.
Okay, so 13.
I like to roll my dice.
Oh, look at you.
Oh.
Ooh, 11, 13,
Damn
11.
it.
Okay.
This would be a great drinking game.
Gotta take off an item
These
of
are good Yahtzee
clothing.
dice, but you gotta get rid of one of the dice.
We're doing strip dice.
Strip dice?
Yeah.
All right.
I like how, you just start with the pants.
Just go right with the pants.
Yeah, strip
right out of
dice.
the gate.
13.
Lucky 13.
Another 13.
That's back-to-back 13s.
What's that all about?
Okay, here we go. Look
Still
out, you're
throwing
going
it
to
at
hit
me.
Todd. Oh, no.
Oh, 7?
Sorry.
Clothes are definitely coming off.
Sorry,
Nice.
Seton.
All right.
I'm going to
13,
have
11,
to
and
take
13.
off another item of clothing.
Better lose.
Here we go.
Nice.
Here's 13
Gotta
again.
White balance those cameras again.
Oh,
my God.
almost 13
12.
again.
Uncanny.
Yeah, but Seton got 11 and 7.
I'm getting crushed.
Got to be the 12 here. You went 11,
You're
7,
gonna get
and this one.
8.
1.
8. Hey, you
Oh
called
my
it.
God!
Called it.
What the heck?
What is going on
That
there?
was creepy.
11, 7, and 8.
That
All right.
was creepy.
Somebody shoot Todd.
Yeah. Buckle up, boys. Time to go to work.
Isn't anyone bothered that this is stupid?
What are you talking about today?
Don't make me say the argument. You're going to make me be the guy.
Dan Patrick. Welcome to the world of a man we call McLovin, cooking up his hot takes inside of an irrational oven. Some might call him contrarian. We call him a hater if you don't win on his terms. He's the great invalidator. It don't count.
When did you become a hater?
McLovin says that it don't count.
Anybody could have gotten out of the East.
Do it better next time.
Who is good in your world?
You probably did it in a system.
Typical.
Joe Montana and Tom Brady, they're both system quarterbacks.
Broadcasting from the Mercedes Man Cave.
The most important person in this dynasty of the Golden State Warriors is who?
Joe Lacob.
You're saying Steph Curry's the best player in the world?
Yes. By the way, Embiid, totally top 5 player.
If I said you can have Zion or you can have Luka right now?
Zion.
Oh, my God. Did he just say that?
This is Dan Patrick.
Yes, he did. Hour 2 on this Meat Friday. Got the Traegers fired up. Got wings today. Wings and sausages for the boys. Come on in, stay a while if you can. We're going to talk to Pat Forty from Sports Illustrated, covers college football. Is he going to be covering college football this season? And also that back and forth between Jim Harbaugh and the Ohio State head coach Ryan Day yesterday. I loved it. I hope that we get a game between those two this year, but a little back and forth there. And Harbaugh always wins the spring and the month of August. He has problems with some of the other months there. But, back and forth there. If you've ever seen that movie, Memento, and it's Guy Pearce doesn't remember what happens. He has very, very short-term memory or no memory whatsoever. So he'll actually tattoo things on his body to remember them. Jim Harbaugh is like Guy Pearce in Memento. He doesn't remember last year's result or the year before that or the year before that or the year before that. But we'll talk to 40 about that coming up. 877-3DP-SHOW, email address dp@danpatrick.com. Damian Lillard, 11 three-pointers last night. So he's got 247 for the season, breaking his own team record. Third career game with at least 10 three-pointers. That's tied for third most all time. Steph Curry with 15. Klay Thompson with 5. Damian Lillard with 3. James Harden 3. And, of course, J.R. Smith in there with 3 as well. We say good morning to our radio and TV partners, the folks in chat row. The NFL's opt-out deadline was yesterday at 4 Eastern, and over 60 players decided that they will not play this season. No surprise. Some people are criticizing those players, but I can't judge somebody for their personal reasons. Guys are having babies or high-risk members in their family, and it's tough to have one foot in when you're going to have one foot out, and you're going to try to play the sport of football. The physically demanding sport that it is requires a lot of focus. It's already inherently dangerous. And then you add the risk of COVID, and I know we want to see our teams fully assembled, but adaptability might be the most important quality in 2020. The healthiest team might be the team to beat this upcoming season. The number of players opting out is set, and it's time to get to work. Now we have college football players who are opting out. That doesn't mean that they can't opt back in, but you're also seeing some of these smaller conferences looking to play football in the spring. What's the poll question we're going to go with, McLovin?
Okay, so hour 1 was who would you bet on, the Lakers or Clippers? Clippers actually won that.
Where'd you come up with that voice?
I was just trying to be sexy.
I know, but don't.
Effective. It's
Hot.
working.
Hot. So I have a poll question that's right in your alley. Which 4-0 bubble team are you more excited about, the Blazers or the Suns? Because you're the only one in this room who knows anything about the Suns, but they can't be beat right now. They whooped the Pacers last night.
The Suns are 4-0 in the bubble. They won last night.
The side question is, who's a better shooter, Devin Booker or Damian Lillard?
Damian Lillard, I would take. I love Devin Booker. Damian Lillard is more dangerous. Devin Booker is a really talented shooter. He's on the short list of best shooters in the game. But Damian Lillard, if you say I got a big game and I can have one of those two, I'd still take Damian Lillard. Yeah, Paulie.
We were just talking about most upside in the playoffs. If Damian Lillard could get his team in and get his team to advance to round 2 over who, that's the way you get national attention. I mean, anyone knows anything about basketball knows who Damian Lillard is. But the casual sports fan, that's the way you put your name out there.
And Phoenix is a fun team right now, and maybe they grow into something. Portland has the ability to be a dangerous team. The question is, can they get in? And what are the Lakers going to look like if that matchup happens there? But Portland does have size. They have shooters. They have some depth. If they had Trevor Ariza, as strange as this is going to sound, and I even said this with the Rockets, he's a valuable guy because he's not a guy you have to worry about him getting his touches and any of that stuff. He just is one of those guys who fills in the gray area for a team. And, Portland was trying to get him to come back because he's just that valuable. Yeah, McLevin.
So the other teams, are the Pelicans and the Spurs and the Kings really non-factors? The Pelicans aren't even discussed anymore.
Well, they're discussed. We discussed them because of Zion Williamson. Last night he played well, but they didn't. They lost again. So they're going to go through the motions the last couple of regular season games, and it looks like it comes down to Memphis is limping to the finish line as well.
So my question was, if say, God forbid, the Lakers got knocked down the first round and there's no Zion in those playoffs, is that a worry for the NBA? That
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. I don't know. The numbers are down with people watching. I don't know if how much that has to do with the social movement with players, the fact that there's no ambiance there when you're watching these games. But the numbers aren't great. If you had Milwaukee against the Lakers or Toronto against the Lakers, let's say Milwaukee against the Clippers or Toronto against the Clippers, you're not going to have big numbers there. I mean, LeBron is a tune-in factor. There are very, very few players that people who are casual fans, that's why, this is something that Dick Ebersol, who ran NBC Sports for so many years, his brilliance with the Olympics was he wanted to make sure your mom, your daughter, your wife, your girlfriend, the non-sports fan was going to watch the Olympics. That's when you get the big number. How do I attract you as an audience? So what did he do? Gymnastics was featured, front and center, prominent, a lot of swimming and diving. But you're giving these stories that, your mom or your wife or your daughter is going to buy into, and then you start to root for that athlete as they progress in the Olympics. It's not just for us. The Olympics were programmed for somebody who's not the hardcore sports fan. In the NBA, your casual basketball fan would probably tune in to watch LeBron. But what other player are they going to tune in? Diehard fans, of course, we're watching. The Greek Freak, only because of the nickname. And he's fun to watch. There's no, oh my gosh. And you start to think of how many of those oh my gosh guys you have, and that's why you're probably not going to get the big numbers there. Patrick Mahomes is tune-in factor worthy because you're watching somebody who might be the next great quarterback of all time. And that's a Kansas City team that was fun to watch. And it's the Super Bowl. But you also get people who understand who is playing. You're not tuning in to see the San Francisco 49ers as a casual football fan. The Super Bowl with what's at stake, you will. Patrick Mahomes is tune-in worthy. Tom Brady is, because what's at stake with his legacy. Drew Brees, tune-in factor worthy. You start to go down the list. Is Christian McCaffrey tune-in factor worthy? You're not going to be playing in important games. So when you start to think about it, how many athletes are tune-in factor worthy if you're just a casual fan? And we talked about Mike Trout yesterday. If Mike Trout is in the World Series, you might watch and go, okay, guy seems pretty good. He does everything right. Aaron Judge is tune-in worthy. Bryce Harper is tune-in worthy. Some pitchers, Clayton Kershaw, tune-in worthy. Maybe Max Scherzer, Jacob deGrom. But it's not a long list there. Yeah, Paul.
You're right. There's some guys that are great players, but you don't play in your night around them. I was watching the Sixers the other day, and I'm watching Embiid. I'm like, boy, he's unstoppable.
Yeah.
They have no answer. He's outside. He's inside. There's nothing he can't do. But then sometimes they're going, why isn't he a bigger deal?
He's not exciting.
But when you actually stumble upon his game, and you're a true basketball fan, you're like, wow, this guy has it all.
But watch Jokic with the Nuggets. Yeah, Greg Popovich say he reminds me of Larry Bird.
And Kawhi Leonard's that way. I don't tune in to see the Clippers, but when I soak up a Clippers game, I'm like, man, Kawhi's got everything. He's a great three-point shooter.
He's just not exciting. Yeah, McLovin.
If Embiid won a title, then he'd be excited. Or Jokic. Don't they? I know Kawhi's different.
Jokic would not be. You're not tuning in to watch a guy throw a backdoor pass. I mean, you're just not.
But is it because they're not a threat to win the title usually?
No, Kawhi is a threat to win the title, but he's not tune-in factor worthy for me. I mean, he's just a wonderful player. I'd rather watch Klay Thompson than I would Kawhi Leonard. He's more interesting, more exciting. Steph Curry, tune-in worthy. But when you get those big numbers, it's because the casual fan is curious about something. I mean, Tiger, the casual golf fan, even non-golf fans, still tune in for Tiger Woods. That's why whenever you see the leaderboard and they'll get to Tiger, there can be 15 guys at 2 under. Tiger will be the first name at 2 under because they want you to watch their coverage. Bryson DeChambeau, the curiosity is great. Brooks Koepka, he might be like Kawhi Leonard, you know? He doesn't have to say much. His game, all right. He's a great golfer. But tune-in factor worthy? Probably not. DeChambeau? Yes. Tiger? Yes. Jordan Spieth for a while. Rory for a little while. Justin Thomas? John Rahm? Yeah, Paul.
But what's interesting about Brooks Koepka, 4 years ago, he was playing great, but I wasn't interested in him. Then he started doing interviews, and one of the first ones I heard was on this show. And he let his personality out there, and he became a character. And now you know what he's about. It's not just, hey, he's got a tan and biceps and a nice visor. He's actually a guy you know.
He doesn't wear a visor.
Off the field, he does. Big visor, like
does.
Matthew Stafford.
Big visor. By the way, if you have a podcast idea, then I'd like to go into business with you. Next great podcast contest, thanks to my friends at iHeartRadio, nextgreatpodcast.com. Get the details, submit your pitch. You have until the end of this month. We're going to select up to 10 semifinalists, give them $1,000 to produce a pilot episode. Then the listeners are going to vote on this. And we're going to find out who is the next great podcast. Go to nextgreatpodcast.com, and I hope to be working with you because the winner and I will be partners. Charles Barkley last night on TNT had this to say about digital fans in the stands. I'm being told by Alan, the IT guy, that it's not playing. Paulie said you're going to love the Barkley quote.
Trust me, it's great.
Okay.
The digital fans actually left him speechless.
Oh, okay. All right.
Terrible.
Phil in Indiana. Hi, Phil.
Hey, Dan, always a pleasure. I think the Kawhi Leonard thing is very interesting. I wanted to comment on and get your thoughts. If he wins a third with a third team, I think he gets elevated to the best player in the game. However, I do think if the Toronto Raptors somehow wins, maybe that greatness is diminished. I wanted to get your thoughts, and have a great weekend.
You
Dan.
too, Phil. Thank you. Thank you for calling. Kawhi doesn't play or doesn't care about the regular season. Gets into the postseason, he's obviously great. And if he would do it again this year, I don't know if he would be elevated. We like to know who our stars are. You want that personality. You want to feel like you know a little bit more about him. I have no idea who Kawhi Leonard is, and he has no interest in letting me know who he is. We have the Charles Barkley comment here that it's worth waiting for. Here's Charles Barkley on the virtual fans.
Can she wanted to know because she's nosy. Can the players? They can't see those people in the stands, can they?
No, they're virtual. They can't see them.
Yeah, they see the same. They see the screen.
Dummy, it's a screen.
Okay,
There's a screen. It's a screen.
Oh, but they see faces. They see everything, the same thing. I was just asking. Maybe they were superimposing for the people at home. It's not super.
It's like in baseball. You can look in the stands but not see anything when they have all those fans in the stands.
Yeah, so they don't.
You can't see those.
Okay, that's all.
Have you never been on a
conference call? I asked a dumb question.
It is a dumb question. Have you never been on a conference call since the pandemic had started?
What do you mean?
A Zoom call, a Comcast call?
Yeah, but I'm talking about, like Shaq's in the stands. Do they only see that at home was my question.
Oh, my gosh.
They see the screen.
Okay, thank you, Ernie. And
They actually see basketball.
Don't try to embarrass me. Don't call me dumb on television.
Yes, Eden.
I don't see why that's dumb at all. Half of the stuff that we see on TV, the players don't see.
Yeah.
There's all like sponsorship things and logos and like all kinds of digital things that the players don't see at all.
Yes, McLeod.
There are a lot of fans that they don't see that are superimposed on TV.
Yeah.
That happens all the time. We've seen like full stadiums sometimes.
Yeah. Hey, we've had questions here where we go, wait, can they hear the noise in the arena or at the ballpark? I mean, we've had those questions before.
It's like yelling at the quarterback who slid just before that huge
The
yellow
yellow
line. Like, idiot, just the yellow line's right there.
Why doesn't he get that yellow stuff on his jersey?
Just right there.
Tyler in South Dakota joins us on this award-winning program. Hey, Tyler.
Hey, Dan. I just wanted to call and thank you and the boys. I've been on quarantine since March from school, and next week we're starting back up with our high school football and school stuff, so I won't be able to listen or watch on YouTube. I'll have to go back to listen on the podcast. But you guys have been a bright spot in my day, and just really enjoy the 3 hours that you give us. So thank you.
Now, Tyler, you can get the shows on demand on YouTube, any of them. When you get home, you can go to YouTube, The Dan Patrick Show, and you're able to watch. So I'm going to do that just for you, Tyler.
Well, I know that,
Okay.
but it's easier to put you in my – oh, my gosh. It's easier to –
What's going on there, Tyler? Why is she upset?
She wants to go, so –
Okay, well, you go, Tyler, because I don't want your sister yelling at you.
No, that's not my sister. That's my daughter.
Oh, okay. Well, then I don't want your
Yeah,
daughter.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm a teacher. Yeah. No, I'm not going back to school to learn. I'm going to educate.
Okay.
This is like 21 Jump Street.
I thought he was like 15 and he had a sister.
Yeah,
I didn't know, Tyler. I'm sorry, you didn't. How old are you, Tyler?
I think 36. They usually ask my wife.
Yeah, the kids all call him the narc.
Thank you.
Like, no way that
Tyler.
dude's a teacher.
Thank you, Tyler. He sounded like he was 15. I thought that might have been his sister.
Walking in with a backpack.
No. I'm not going back to learn. I'm a teacher. All right. That's me.
Dude, we were all on the same page there, buddy.
Yeah, my bad. That's how I sounded when I was like 17. All right, we'll take a break here. Do you think Pat Forty has anything positive to say about college football?
No.
Oh, I can't do this on a Friday.
But he's a cheery, personable guy.
No,
so
he's
that
not
makes
a
up for
cheery,
the
personable
actual
guy.
news he'll be sharing can't possibly be anything remotely positive.
I just want to know, why is there no sound of Harbaugh and Ryan Day, the Ohio State coach, going back and forth? McLevin, have you heard?
I was wondering, I don't think the press was on that call, were they? So how do they know word for word what they said?
Was this just the coaches got on a conference call to talk to one another?
I think so, but we have to go into this a
Why?
little further. I don't know.
I don't want to compare notes to anybody else. All right, we'll talk to Pat Forty. He better have something positive to say about college. It's Friday. He better have something to say. All right, we'll take a break here. 19 after the hour. This is the Positive Thinking Dan Patrick Show. Oh, my sleep number bed. You know what I love about her? She's always there waiting for me. And it's just like this nice hug that you get. And I've told my wife, I said, I love you, but that sleep number bed, I can always count on, return love. Sometimes my wife is gone, but that sleep number bed is always there for me. The 360 smart bed, and you can save up to $500 on select smart beds. So shop your way. You can go to Sleep Number store or go online, sleepnumber.com/Patrick. And my sleep number setting is 75. They have a lot of tips for you to get a great night's sleep. And as more places reopen and we safely enjoy summer, quality sleep is more important than ever. Not only is it a natural immunity booster, it's also helpful with energy and recovery. Go in and check out the 360 Smart Bed. For a limited time, save up to $500 on select smart beds. Sleepnumber.com/Patrick. Was John Stockton dirty to you?
John Stockton was one of the toughest guys I ever played against there. We had a series in the playoffs. It was our first series in Sacramento, and we were playing against Utah, great Karl Malone and Stockton, and I felt that our team was in awe of them. We were younger, and so I told Coach Alderman before the game, I said, on the first play of the game, I'm going to lay Stockton's ass out. And Coach said, are you sure? I said, yeah. I said, trust me, Coach. It's the first game. We just need to do it. Like, you know, they're prepared for everything that's coming. They don't expect it. I lay him out on the screen. I'm talking about I lay him out. One of the best screens I ever did. Got my shoulder kind of in that head area, too, to kind of make it a little dirty. He pops up off the ground, pats me on the butt and says, nice screen. you know, do you know how demoralizing that is? You know what I mean? So, yeah, he was one of the toughest guys, and I loved it, too. After that game, we would play him in the playoffs, and I would make rookies wait on the bus, and I would say, watch the baddest man in the world pull up. And they're like, what do you mean? They think I'm going to talk about, like, his cars and all this. And John Stockton would come to the game, literally in a minivan, pop his kids out, come in there, and bust us up. So, yeah, he's a bad man. Wherever he is right now, he's still a bad man.
And he would show up, and he would probably have a plaid shirt on and, you know, jeans or something. His hair parted neatly on the side. He'd be so unassuming. He'd be a guy that they'd probably check his ID in other arenas.
Oh, yeah. You even thought he was, you know, coming straight out of Catholic Church, one of the kids up there, you know, lighting the candles, or you thought, yeah, he was the valet. You definitely didn't think he was as bad of a man as he was, but he knew that, and he knew that being unassuming was part of his swagger. So he knew that, and he used that to his advantage too.
What are your thoughts on this?
Yes. Can we do this?
I don't see why not. I don't see why not. Magic City. It says, come for the wings, stay for the breasts.
Oh. I just go
Thank
more.
you for
I like
reading
the
that.
letter.
Well, I like
I was
that.
embarrassed to admit I couldn't quite see it from
Yeah.
yeah, that's great.
Come for the wings, stay for the breasts. Magic City.
Do you have some wings, though, up?
Well, these are kind of like little.
Okay, those aren't, no.
Those are wings.
They-
Those are wings.
But I think you could do better wings than
It's a
that.
chicken place.
Bubble quarantine worthy wings.
Yeah.
That's a great shirt.
Those are interesting
That is a
wings.
really cool looking shirt.
The back of the shirt too with the logo.
Come for the wings, stay for the breasts. Magic City.
Wings got to look better.
Yeah, what's going on there?
Hey, look, I'm attention to detail.
I know. It looks like someone's got their head
legs
stuck in
and,
the shirt.
Thigh, and
It looks
and
like somebody's like the back of a frogman or something.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I don't know.
A little bit of
What
a
is-
rump.
Yeah,
Right
I don't
there,
know
but-
what that
Yeah,
is.
it looks like
looks
someone's head stuck in the shirt and their legs and torso are sticking
Thigh and a
out
breast
of
and
the shirt.
a-
It's like you when you were at the when he was running
There's something
in
provocative
Milwaukee.
there. It looks like the front part of that person is stuck in there.
Yeah, it's like disappeared.
It's just like the legs
but-
are flying.
No, those are wings. Those I don't know what else they could be.
I love that shirt actually.
This program brought to you by Mercedes-AMG. Be prepared for whatever comes your way. It's the all-new GT 4-door coupe. Because life is a race. Visit your local dealership for a test drive today. If you missed any of our interviews this week or any week from the Mercedes-AMG Man Cave, go to danpatrick.com. Watch and listen from inside the Mercedes-AMG Man Cave, Mercedes-AMG driving performance. Pat Forty covers college sports for Sports Illustrated. He's a senior writer. I'm hopeful that he's got something positive to say because he has been on a negative streak, and Pat Forty joins us on the program. Let's start with good news with college football. What do you have for me, Pat?
Well, some practices are underway. Some teams are working out, actually, like, hitting each other, swapping a little spit out there. We'll see if it actually leads to real football games between different institutions of higher learning. Not sure we'll get there, but by golly, we're taking small steps, Dan, baby steps toward a season. How's that?
How big a news was the Connecticut opt-out?
Well, it was significant. First FBS program to say we're not playing. That's a state that has very restrictive state local guidelines right now, travel restrictions, and they don't have a full schedule because they're an independent team, had opted out of a conference. So, it's hard to know for sure if this is 100% health and safety related versus the logistics of the season as an independent that nobody really cares about. It's not Notre Dame as an independent, it's UConn. But it's significant that somebody said, no, we're not going to do it. They won't be the last, I don't believe, but they certainly are the first.
How big are the opt-outs so far with the players themselves?
I think they're very big. A lot of big names going, and there's a lot of speculation and rumor about that there's going to be a whole bunch more in the future. I think a lot of them are kind of holding their cards right now, waiting to see if there even is a season, because they don't want to be the one that steps up and says, no, I don't want to play if they don't have to. If there's not going to be a season in the fall, then they can just say, okay, well, there's no season in the fall, and they're certainly not going to play in the spring. But, you're seeing some big-time receivers from the Big Ten, Micah Parsons, the linebacker from the Big Ten as well. There's some big names opting out with more to come. And I do think it underscores to me, Dan, first of all, they're taking their future very seriously as potential NFL players, but also there's this sense or this feeling that, college football is almost as much of a risk as a reward these days for high-level prospects. It's like, this is something I have to go through to get to the NFL, and all I get out of this is potentially a torn ACL, as opposed to, oh boy, I get to play college football.
Yeah, I don't know where we're headed, and I know that I've had doubts, but they're substantiated. They're rooted in actual reality, because two sources have been with me all along just to say this is going to happen. They're going to try to do this. I'm just trying to look at the likelihood that this is pulled off is what?
I think the likelihood that we start is 50-50. The likelihood that we finish is 10-90, I would say, or 20-80. I just think that there's a lot of things that could go wrong. And when they do, I think you're going to see administrators start getting a little bit squeamish and backing off. And I think, if there's going to be a lot of certain segment on campuses and in the general public that are like, why are we doing this? Or why is just FBS football doing this when everybody else is going the other way and saying we shouldn't play? And I think the answer comes down to they want the money, they need the money, and that answer may not go over very well with some people.
Pat Forty covers college athletics for Sports Illustrated, their senior writer joining us, Dan Patrick Show. Also, CBSSports.com came out with an article yesterday that talked about the NCAA, as far as basketball goes, may try to bubble their teams. I don't know the possibility of doing something like that. Obviously, you have less players and staff that you would have to quarantine or bubble. The likelihood we could see a college basketball season that closely resembles what we have in Orlando is what?
Ooh, I think it's going to be tough to pull off. I can understand the theory, that maybe you bring, half of a conference into Indianapolis if you're the Big Ten or something, or Chicago, and you have, you play games for round the clock or 12 hours a day for 4 days or whatever, and get in as many games as you can, something like that. But geez Louise, it's tougher, much tougher to pull off when you're talking about guys that theoretically have classes, even if they're not in person, they still have classes online. You have other logistics from other sports on campus that you're trying to take care of as well. I just think it's much harder to do in a college setting than it would be in a pro setting, and I just don't think they can pull it off.
You had a conference call with the coaches in the Big Ten, and that was on Monday, right? And we just got some details that Jim Harbaugh kept interrupting Ryan Day, the Ohio State head coach, and basically accusing him of violating an NCAA rule. Now, why isn't the media on that call, or that we don't have the audio from that?
The media, we're not invited to most of those calls. I mean,
But what is
there's
it? What
plenty
is
of
the
league
conference
calls.
call for? The coaches get together and do what?
I don't know. Probably talk about, how many positive tests do you guys have? How many do you guys have? That sort of thing. But there's calls going on basically all day, every day in some of these leagues that we hear nothing about. But we certainly heard about this one. It was pretty
it's
good,
so
I gotta
good.
say.
It's so good. I said earlier in the show, Harbaugh wins the spring. He doesn't win in the fall, but he wins the spring. He's always got, a trip with his players. He's got something to say here. And then Ryan Day, the Ohio State head coach, reportedly told his players, we're going to hang 100 on Michigan when they meet. That's at Ohio State. And the last time they were there, they could have easily put up 80 on them that day. They put up 63 or whatever. They could have put 80 if they wanted to.
Oh, they could. That's the thing. Harbaugh better get his points now because he's not going to get enough of them in the fall in October when they play. So this is what we want out of Ohio State, Michigan, right? It's just absolute hatred. And if Ryan Day can run it up on him, hey, look out. He just might.
Hey, good to talk to you, Pat. Have a good weekend, and let me know if you ever have any good news to talk about with college football.
I'll try to be positive next week.
All right. That's Pat Forty. Covers college athletics for Sports Illustrated. After a while, that's why when I hear members of the media saying, there are a certain faction of the media that's rooting for baseball to collapse, the season will end. And I go, why would I want something to end that makes my job harder? Oh, you don't want college football. So why do I want college football not to happen? We already went through this. I went through 3.5 months where there was no sports whatsoever. I'm skeptical, but that doesn't mean I'm not rooting for this. But I can't understand where you have members of the media saying, these guys are rooting for the sport to not start or go away. I hope baseball has a postseason. Why wouldn't I not want to root for that? Or college football. Makes my job harder. When you have games to talk about, you can exhale a little bit. Instead of saying, hey, we might have fans in the stands. Hey, we might have a season. We might start but not finish. I hate bringing that news to you every day. And you hate hearing it every day. But that's why I just ask the people who I don't think have a vested interest in this where they're blind. I think that coaches are in denial right now. And I asked Randy Edsall, the UConn head coach, yesterday. Now, he didn't answer. He laughed. But I feel like there are athletic directors, chancellors, presidents, coaches who are in denial right now. Maybe they pull it off. Maybe you get a couple of conferences that play football this year. Maybe. I hope. But in no way am I rooting for the pandemic. Pandemic, Vegas has got them listed as pretty impressive odds. Just saying. I'm rooting for the underdog here, college football. Yeah, Paul.
That's what's wild about college football compared to the NFL is that it's a conference-by-conference decision. If the Big Ten says we're shutting it down, the SEC could say we'll play through, and they'll get all the ratings and all the money.
Yeah.
It's not Mark Emmert and the NCAA, they're, like we said before, they're a way station for the cash. They don't decide anything.
A couple of phone calls in here. Amy in California joining us. Good morning, Amy. What's on your mind today?
Hey, good morning, Dan. 5'8", 150, doing a barefoot beach run here in beautiful Carlsbad,
Nice.
California. I wanted to rib you because when you were talking about Dick Ebersol, you said that he wanted to, get the non-sports fans to watch. And your group was the wives, the mothers, and the daughters. So I had to call you and rib you because girls are sports fans too. And just calling to just give you a little rib there.
Well, it's not just women, and thank you, Amy, but this is the strategy for decades. I'm not making it up or throwing in that demographic here. I'm just saying that he wanted to make diehard sports fans are going to watch, men and women, but his goal was to get the casual. He wanted your mom watching. She might not have been a diehard sports fan. Or your daughters to watch. They might not be diehard sports fans. So If I came off as sexist, then I apologize. That's not what I was trying to. I'm just conveying what the message was. It's not my opinion. It's just that's how you get a large audience because you get everybody. It's more inclusive. And that was the strategy with the Olympics. Casual sports fans are going to watch. Let me see. How about Alex in Minnesota? Hi, Alex. What do you have for me?
Hey, Dan. 5'8", a hard quarantine 210. Hard. I got a shout out for McLovin and you pretty much. So you guys going to be like the Chiefs? Since you guys got Ethan now, you're going to trade McLovin away and so you guys can win that sports Emmy? I'll hang up and listen.
Wow, Alex, on a Friday. Yes, McLovin.
Was that his name was Alex?
Yeah.
Was that Alex Smith?
It could have been Alex Smith because he could relate to your situation. Ethan is the Patrick Mahomes in waiting here.
Right. And I ripped Alex Smith the day he signed a $75 million contract. Now, if I can get a $75 million contract with the Redskins or then that'd be an okay landing spot.
Yeah. Or another show.
Have you seen that Alex Smith has been playing a little bit?
Yeah.
Could happen. Maybe. It's a Redskins.
I don't know. I mean, it'd be an unbelievable comeback story. I couldn't get through that documentary. I could not get through it because you're looking at a guy who. So you imagine you go to work that day, you're playing in a game, and then the next thing you know is you might lose your leg. And when it comes to football injuries, that's not a traditional one. But God, you can't help but root for Alex Smith. And imagine this, that San Francisco moved on from him and brought in Colin Kaepernick, and the Kansas City Chiefs moved on from him to bring in Patrick Mahomes. And then you go to Washington, and you think that's going to be your team, and then this happens. You can't help but root for him. Jeff in Detroit joins us. Hi, Jeff.
Hey, what's going on, Dan? Long time no here. Been a busy week. First of all, shout out to the Backroom Bros 12:15 podcast coming up today. I cannot wait on it. I really love it. What up, though, the chat row? And I might be consuming too much of your program. Dig this here. Here I am, sleep, trying to catch up on the shows that I miss on YouTube. I have a dream that I get a call from one Paul Papps telling me that the Dan Patrick Show is going to be doing a pie and cobbler fair with the Traeger grills and everybody out. Oh, my goodness, it was so glorious. And then Paul starts naming the types of pies that are going to be there, lemon custard, meringue, blah, blah, blah. So when I wake up, my pillow is soggy as hell. I'm drooling, looking around, and I have to really ask myself, did I just have a wet dream about the Dan Patrick Show? Fat boys, hey, that's a fat boy's wet dream right there. I woke up looking for steaks and pies and then but nothing around, bruh.
Thank you, Snacks. That's Jeff in Detroit, a.k.a. Snacks. Who?
A collar festival sounds like a great idea.
Jeff, I think you got to stop watching for a little while. I think it's probably best for all of us if you do. Take the weekend off. By the way, he mentioned that the Backroom guys, the BRGs, they have a podcast now. They dropped their podcast last week. It's out on Friday. It's on danpatrick.com, Seton? Is that where we can find the BRG?
Anywhere you can find a podcast. You can find the 12:15 Club.
Yeah, so they call themselves the 12. Well, I call them the 12:15 Club because every Meat Friday, the Backroom guys can't eat until after we've had something to eat, and that's usually at 12:15. And the big German came up with the 12:15 rule, and he pretty much enforces that. Now, the French kid one day, I think he had a chicken wing in his mouth or something. I went out there, it was like 12:07. I go, what are you doing? He goes, I'm eating. I go, no.
That doesn't apply to me.
No. Yeah.
12:15, really? Me?
Yeah. I'm the French kid. I'm a cinematographer.
Yeah, that's not for me.
Yeah. But it was. So they started a podcast. Now you have the big German, Marvin the Prince, Tyler the moderator, Ario, and Dylan. And they just give their thoughts about the show the entire week. I think they have two guests. Who is anybody being asked to be? I was on the first podcast last week. Todd, you're on?
I am on today.
And what is the topic?
I think they want to get into cheating scandals involving my academic accomplishments.
Oh, okay. Is anybody else, Paulie?
I'm really curious to see who the guest is on their 6th episode, if you know what I mean.
Well, will they get to a 6th episode? It's week by week, but Todd is in there, but Ario is your host. Yeah, I'm trying to get you to tune in. I probably shouldn't have said that.
He's trying his best.
Yes, he is.
He is.
He's
trying
trying his absolute best. All right, we'll take a break here. More phone calls coming up here. Back after this in the Dan Patrick Show. I tell my guys all the time, you got to respect those who came before us, the forefathers of sport. And today we ran into one of those godfathers of sorts, Johnny Knoxville.
I gotta admit, we're pretty nervous. We met a lot of celebrities here on the Dan Patrick Show, titans of industry, but this is different.
You know, it's like everything keeps getting bigger and bigger with this. I mean, we were in a movie. We rang the closing bell at the stock exchange. Now to have Mr. Knoxville here playing flinch ball, I don't know how we could possibly top this.
Technically, flinch ball is an offshoot of nut ball, but any game involving this general area of the gooch, I'm your man.
This is a little mind-blowing, Seton.
Yes?
One of my friends from high school is Judge Derek Mosley out of Milwaukee.
Yes, the honorable.
You met Judge Mosley.
I have.
He recently went to Lou Malnati's Pizza.
Okay.
And great deep dish pizza place. They do everything, but in Chicago, there's a lot of good ones, but this is one of the best.
Yeah, we've been there actually.
You've
We've
been
eaten there. Yeah, yeah.
This is a representative of a great Lou Malnati's Pizza.
Very saucy.
They have a new thing here called sausage crust pizza. Excuse me? Yeah, excuse me? So there's no actual
Are you saying that this is sausage?
That's right.
Oh dear.
So in case you can't have gluten or bread, I don't know what it is. I don't know what the reason. but
Keto.
Maybe keto, whatever.
Yeah.
Keto, whatever. Speedo. Here is an actual bite of pizza.
That looks like a good time.
I don't even know what to say here. Here
I'm
is
so hungry.
I called my
Look at all
peeps
the
over at
sauce on
Lou's.
Yeah.
And they sent over.
Is this where you surprise us with pizzas?
Get out of here.
Paul, yes!
They shipped it in some kind of big
Maybe I should have held it off.
Oh,
That looks
man.
amazing. That angle's way better than the last time.
Yeah, if that got
This,
shipped in from Chicago.
okay, so the sausage is nice and all, but like this area right here
The cascading
is,
cheese?
looks so damn
That's
good.
a fork and knife kind of pizza there.
Yeah,
That's like
yeah,
tough
I
to
would
pick
fork
up.
and knife that.
That looks
Oh, yeah,
great.
yeah.
I would fork and knife the heck out of
You're
that.
gonna need
right
a
now.
spotter for that pizza.
That is fabulous. What a great idea.
I would
Geniuses.
have fork and knife the heck out of it.
Geniuses in Chicago.
I have your draft profile here. I got rid of the good stuff. Everybody's read it. They've read their own. Drew Brees, J.J. Watt, Aaron Rodgers. I want you to read. This is Deshaun Watson's draft profile.
Frame is a little slim or a little more slender than teams typically like. Tends to overstride on deep drive throws, causing the ball to sail. Will leave ball behind intended targets. Design of Clemson offense limit his needs to make a full field read he will have to make to be successful in the NFL. Too many interceptions, due to lack of vision, placement, and decision making. Has issues improvising away from initial pre-snap plan, even when pathway to the target becomes muddy. And then discussions about whether or not his areas of improvement can be corrected is the big question.
Any of those true?
Not at all. If it is, it didn't stop me from falling.
That's true. But you know, there's all this information now, and
Right.
everybody's got their profile of you.
Exactly.
And it's got to be tough to try not to read that and let it impact you.
Right.
Did you read it when you were at Clemson?
Of course. I mean, I saw it. I mean, you can't really hide from it, you know, throughout the media.
Yeah.
People are going to talk about it. But, you know, it's kind of fun. I was talking to really a future Hall of Famer the other day, and we were talking, you know, it's crazy how, you know, they put this label and they say these things about you, you know, coming into the draft. And then once you get to the NFL, they start talking about how good you are at these things and flip the whole script. So, you know, just kind of laughing motivates me.
Who says there's not a home field advantage in baseball? Philadelphia Phillies might not have fans inside Citizens Ballpark, but that didn't stop some of the supporters from getting the attention of Aaron Boone, the Yankees manager, on Thursday. A group of fans gathered behind the fence, the center field concourse, and they were blowing an air horn when the Yankees starter Jordan Montgomery was making his pitches. So Aaron Boone, the manager, goes out to the umpires and wants them to do something about it. But since the fans were outside, not in the stadium, the umpires had no recourse. After the Phillies broadcast mentioned that Boone's visit to the umpires, the fans began chanting Boone's name, but they did not stop blowing the air horns during the pitches. I'm going to guess this is just the start of it. It's probably going to get a little worse there in these stadiums. Yes, Tom?
I have a lot of empathy for Aaron Boone because when I was 8 years old pitching in Little League, the other team in the third base dugout was screaming and yelling, "We want a pitcher, not a Billy Itch," and all the things to try to distract me. And it was my first year in Little League, and I didn't realize that that's something that you can do. And it was really bothering me. I'm walking guys, I'm losing focus. I call timeout, and I go over to the first base dugout, and I wave my coach over, my manager, and he meets me down the first base line. He's like, "What's the matter?" I go, "The other team's making all this noise. I really can't concentrate with the pitching." Instead of him telling me, you know, they're allowed to do that, I guess he wanted me to learn a lesson. He goes, "Why don't you go tell the home plate ump what you just told me?" So I waved the home plate ump. He meets me between the catcher and the mound, and I go, "Yeah, I'm trying to pitch here, and the other team is screaming and yelling at me. Can you make them stop?" "Son, go back on the mound and pitch."
If you said somebody was going to tell me that story today and it was one of the Danettes, I would have bet my life that it would have been you who would have been telling me that story. Yes, Eaton.
One of my favorite memories of Little League is actually about my cousin. His last name is Felice. And there was this one kid named Kevin Mannion, and he used to always, every time that my cousin was pitching, this one kid, he was the only voice that would do it, would go, "Feliz Navidad," da, 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 da. And somewhere about the fourth inning, if my cousin was still pitching, of hearing "Feliz Navidad," he would step off the mound and go, "Shut up!" It was the best. And there's Kevin Mann, big smile on his face. "Feliz Navidad."
Jeff in Milwaukee joins us. Hi, Jeff. What do you have for me today?
Hey, DP, that's the least surprising Fritzy story ever.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about your watchability argument or your topic. It's intriguing with how it relates to Giannis. We have a CEO that tried to use Giannis as a story of, you know, teamwork and working hard and stuff. It didn't go well. He's a casual sports fan at best, but he tried.
Yeah.
The point is, he's endlessly fascinated by Giannis. It's his backstory, his work ethic, his ability on the court, what he sees on the court. And so I just think that he does have those qualities. But I'll give you a flip side. I've turned a lot of Bucks games off this year because they're just killing dudes. So I do see your point. I think Giannis has more watchability, maybe not as much as LeBron, but he should be in that same category.
Well, talent-wise, he is, but as far as tune-in factor, he's not. He might be the best player in the game, win an MVP again. We heard his backstory last year. And see, LeBron reinvented himself this year. With the Lakers playoff team, got Anthony Davis, led the league in assists. So he kind of recreated something, but he also reinvented himself. And then it became a really unique story. And they were the number one team in the West. We had heard the Greek Freak story. Then we move on from that. That's how, Steve Nash was a great story. Was the MVP. He was MVP twice. Shaq should have won it one of those times. But we had already heard Shaq's story. James Harden was a new story. Russell Westbrook was a new story. And it doesn't mean that they didn't turn in great seasons. It's a great story to tell. Jordan didn't win. Karl Malone won an MVP. Charles Barkley won an MVP. Who was the most valuable player in the league? Michael Jordan. But Karl Malone wasn't tune-in factor worthy, but Utah Jazz would win 60-plus games. And I think you have to be able to separate greatness and tune-in factor. Because Karl Malone was great, but not tune-in factor. And I'm talking about the casual fan. I mean, there's only a few of those athletes that we've seen. Like Tiger changed it for everybody because, with social media, if Tiger was playing and Tiger was, on the back nine of a major, people tuned in. They were watching something they hadn't seen before. Non-golf fans would watch. If Michael Jordan was playing now, the tune-in factor would be remarkable if he was able to do what he did back in the 90s. But how many of those athletes do we have? Steph Curry became tune-in factor worthy because just his size, how far he shot from, and they were winning. You win championships. So, the casual fan, that's what you're looking for. Can you get the casual fan? Yeah, McLovin.
Do you think hockey will ever get another Gretzky like Connor McDavid?
Well, you may have that. Sidney Crosby was great, but he wasn't tune-in factor worthy.
How about McDavid?
Man, you listen to some of these analysts there, and they talk about his footwork and his eye-hand coordination and his speed, and they say it's nobody's ever had that combination like him. But is he playing on the big stage? He's 23 years of age. You got Gretzky won. Edmonton. We cared about Edmonton. And then he goes to the Kings. We cared about them. They were playing for championship. They were in the Stanley Cup final. You're watching them. And you were watching something. We want to see something we haven't seen before. That's what, Michael did that to all the NBA players. We're like, okay. And we've seen this before. Tom Brady is putting up something that we haven't seen before. And we thought we had seen it with Joe Montana, and we did, and then Tom Brady came along, and then we don't bring up Joe Montana anymore. Baseball, we're still waiting for who is that next guy that you go, I got to watch that guy. Golf is going to have a hard time replacing Tiger. Who is the guy that you actually tune in to watch? And you could get ratings. All right, one more hour to go. More phone calls as well. 877-3DP Show. I'm going to tell you about a great golf story coming up in about 10 minutes from now here on the Dan Patrick Show. 18 years in the hole. How did I get here? How do I get out? From the big show to the big house. Am I a prisoner physically? Or just mentally? Some of my cellmates got out. Alive. Well, not all of them.
Hey, I can get you out of here. One condition. You gotta take me with you.
I'd rather rot in hell.
Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Let's go. All right, you can go. Come on.
Welcome to civilization, boys. It's the highlight of my day. I get to come in here and see my girl. And all she wants to hear is the bag rustling. Does somebody want a cookie? Hi. Hi, gorgeous. Come on here. Come on, sit. Can I have one paw? God, those are big hands. Paws. Those are big hands too. Okay. Good girl. And that's it. That's all. We got to play ball this morning, didn't we? You greeted me at the door. Yes. See you on Monday. Buckle up, boys. Time to go to work.
Isn't anyone bothered that this is stupid?
What are you talking about today?
Don't make me say the argument. You're going to make me be the guy.
Dan Patrick.
Welcome to the world of a man we call McLovin, cooking up his hot takes inside of an irrational oven. Some might call him contrarian. We call him a hater if you don't win on his terms. He's the great invalidator. It don't count.
When did you become a hater?
McLovin says that it don't count.
Anybody could have gotten out of the East.
Do it better next time.
Who is good in your world?
You probably did it in a system.
Typical.
Joe Montana and Tom Brady, they're both system quarterbacks.
Broadcasting from the Mercedes Man Cave.
The most important person in this dynasty of the Golden State Warriors is who?
Joe Lacob.
You're saying Steph Curry's the best player in the world?
Yes. By the way, Embiid, totally top 5 player.
If I said you can have Zion or you can have Luka right now?
Zion.
Oh, my God. Did he just say that?
This is Dan Patrick.
Yes, he did. Final hour on this Friday, a Meat Friday. Got the Traegers fired up. Got some chorizo sausage, and we have some wings. They'll be coming off the grill in about 35 minutes from now. But welcome to the program. If you're just joining us, we've covered a lot of territory. Reggie Miller joined us in the first hour of the program. Pat Forty covers college football, and he was a downer. Had not much positive things to say about the sport coming back. But I got a great story for you coming up here. We'll get to that in a moment. By the way, the Next Great Podcast, you can be involved in this contest. You go to nextgreatpodcast.com, and you'll get the details there. Submit your pitch. And I wanted to do this to give you an opportunity to have somebody hear your idea. And we're going to select 10 semifinalists and give them $1,000 to produce a pilot episode. Then listeners from around the country will vote on their favorite podcast. And I'll go into business with you. That first year, I will be your partner. NextGreatPodcast.com, and I hope to work with you. McLovin, give me the poll question results so far.
Okay, if you had to bet on one team to get to the finals, Clippers or Lakers, it's actually 57% Clippers.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not surprised. I thought it would probably be around 65% with the Clippers based off what the Lakers have and have not been doing so far in the bubble. Brooks Koepka might be the guy to beat at the PGA Championship, but it's hard to beat the story that Alex Knoll is going to tell you about. He's a PGA professional. He's a high school golf coach. He's a math teacher, and he got invited to play in the PGA Championship, and yesterday shot a 7/77, and Alex joins us from San Francisco. How are you, Alex?
Great, Dan. Thanks for having me. This is so cool.
Okay. Just give people an idea. You're from Pennsylvania, and you're a math teacher there. You're the high school coach. And when do you find out that you're going to be playing in the PGA Championship?
So it goes back to mid-March. I'm actually giving a lesson, and I get an email that they canceled our PGA Club Professional Championship, which was supposed to be in Austin, Texas, but that got canceled at the time due to COVID. And there was a link at the bottom of the email just saying top 20 on last year's national points list gets invited. Well, I guess for some reason I clicked that link because I'm like, oh, I'd like to see who are the lucky 20. And I opened the email. I'm in 11th place. I'm like, how the hell am I in this golf? So it said, though, if they don't reschedule the PGA, and if it's still held in May, I'm in the event. So right away, screenshot it, send it to my parents, send it to all my friends. I'm in the PGA. Next morning, they postponed the PGA. I'm like, oh, boy, here we go. So the rest of the summer, we're waiting to see if they're going to reschedule the Club Pro back into Austin, Texas. They eventually did. And by the end of June, Austin was not a place to have a golf tournament with 300 guys coming in. So then they postponed and eventually canceled that again. And I was officially in the field about 3.5 weeks ago.
How much golf have you been playing?
Actually, way too much. As a club pro, we play minimally. So I've been playing probably 4 days a week coming out here. And I played 2.5 practice rounds this week. And I said to my caddy, after I hit 100 balls perfect yesterday on the range, I said, we're way too prepared. This is not going to go well. And I on the course. And so I played pretty well, but a couple of my swings were nervy, and that's why I shot the score I did.
What was that like when they announced you on the first tee?
You can't as a teacher, you always want to prepare your students for these scenarios. You can't do it without that experience. I'm always an experience-based teacher. And when they announced my name, I took 2 deep breaths. I probably said 2 Hail Marys, and I aimed 30 yards more right because I knew I was just going to pull hook it. And I actually hit it pretty solid just into the left side of the rough, just missing the fairway. And all things considered, is a pretty good drive.
But here you are on the driving range. And the only way I can relate to this is when I played in the Pebble Beach Pro-Am, you're there with pros right next to you. And I have Nick Faldo right there next to me at the Pebble Beach Pro-Am. You're hitting with the other pros. Who were you next to on the driving range, and how surreal was that?
Well, Monday when I got there, I was the first guy in the range, which was great because no one had to see what I was doing on my initial first couple shots on the range. And then Rory shows up. I'm like, that's nice. We see him bomb the ball. Wednesday was the coolest. After I got done with my 9 holes, I go to the far right range again. And then just Brooks walks up right next to me, parks his bag down. And then Spieth, 2 on the other side of me, parks his bag down. I look at my guys. I'm like, what the heck is this? And I'll be honest, yesterday I was next to Sung J M, and I'm not trying to sound confident, but I probably hit it way better than him on the range. I mean, I was like, stripe show. And then when I got to the golf course, it was not there.
That's what happens. I'm really good on the range.
Exactly.
It's just that long walk. It's a short walk usually from the range to that first tee, but boy, it's a long distance away from being on the range.
Well, even a funnier story is I was finishing up my practice yesterday on the chipping green, and I look up and Phil Mickelson is directly across from me chipping to the same flag. So I turn to my guys. I'm like, you have to take a picture of this. As I get back over the ball, I then blade one right at him. And he's like, thank God I moved. I'm like, yeah, you got to watch out around here. And he says, stay safe out there. And I said, no, I'm fine. You're the one in danger. He's looking at, and my caddy says to him, that was with the Phil Mickelson grind Callaway wedge. And he turns around, he's like, no, it wasn't. So we had a good laugh. He came back over in the putting green to talk to us before I teed off. So that was really cool.
Oh, and all you want to do is get through unscathed. You know, you're not winning, but in your mind you want to compete, but you just don't want to embarrass yourself. And here you are trying to be cool, and you nearly take out Phil Mickelson.
I sculled one into Rory on Monday. And so if I get somehow see Tiger today, I'll probably purposely blade one towards him to say I got all 3.
What was the shot that you took away from the first round where you went, that's pretty damn good?
18 was the shot I got on ESPN. Scott Van Pelt was announcing me. I had all my buddies send it to me. I hit a good drive that just didn't clear the rough on the left side of the ravine. I had to kind of hack it out. I had 55 yards in, and the pin was tucked just over the left bunker. And I actually just put in a 64-degree wedge this week because of the rough and the bunkers. And for me, if I take a pretty full swing at it, I can hit it about 55. And I hit it about 55 yards and 8 inches. I mean, I stuffed it right in there. So that was really cool. And actually, I was only 2 over on the front. That was my first 9. So I was kind of in the flow of the round until I got to 5 and 6, where I made a double and a bogey, and that's where the score got a little higher.
He's Alex Knoll. He is from Eastern Pennsylvania. He's a high school math teacher, led the team to the district championship, first time in, 100-plus years of the school?
Yeah, it was awesome. Golf was the only sport in the school that didn't have a banner. And I said to my buddy who's the AD, I said, within 5 years, you have to get one up there. We got it in our 4th year.
Would you rather win a state championship for your golf team or make the cut at the PGA Championship?
Make the cut every single time.
Okay, all right. I thought you were going to be, you're a teacher and, it's always about the kids, and nope, it's about you.
It's all about me this week, absolutely.
Will you walk over? Will you see Tiger? Did you see Tiger at all?
I walked by him on the range yesterday. I actually putted to the same hole as his on Tuesday. We're in the same wave, so I'll see him at some point later today as he's warming up. Yeah.
But does he say anything to you on the putting green?
Because he has his AirPods in. He's listening to something.
Oh, okay.
I went up to him and said, the rough's really heavy. He kind of looked up to me with a sideways glance. He's like, yeah, it is. And then went back to his routine. He did take his AirPods out for Brooks Koepka. So I think if I was a little bit better in the world ranking, he would talk to me.
And you're carrying the Callaway bag there and flying the colors there. We love that.
Absolutely. They've been awesome to me. It's been great. I've been on some of their podcasts. Phil saw that too. That's why he came back over. It's been absolutely dream week. As I keep saying, every day is better than before. Even though I shot a little worse than I would have liked, it still was incredible. And I acquitted myself. Well, I didn't shoot 100 out there. I just shot 7 over, so it wasn't terrible.
And you're going to tee off at around, 5:45 our time, East Coast time?
Yes, 5:42 East Coast. Yes.
5:42. So we'll hopefully they'll have you in the coverage there. Do something incredible, will you, Alex? Just like, I mean, can you do something so we can, don't break a club or anything like that?
Well, no, I'll just push down in my driver a little
like DeChambeau did yesterday, breaking the head of his driver. That was crazy. Hey, it's a great story, and hopefully you have some great memories there, and don't screw up today on the driving range or the putting green, okay?
I'll try not to. I want to keep those guys safe, but I was thinking if I just took out 10 of them, my chances get a little bit better.
Thank you, Alex. We appreciate your time. Good luck. That's great. Alex Knoll, Knoll, and math teacher, the high school golf coach. And all of a sudden, you go to a website, you click on, you go, I'm playing in the PGA Championship. And this is a public course, Harding Park, but it is a difficult course. But, even if he's a PGA professional, but that doesn't mean he plays a lot of golf. He teaches. Most of your teachers don't play a lot of golf. And it's not like he's traveling around the country playing in these, these events here. He didn't even get to. But that's a pretty cool story there. Yeah, Paul.
He might be one of our better golf interviews. The guy's a star.
Yeah.
She's like a Chris Farley.
He looked like Kevin James a little bit. He looked a little bit like King of Queens there. A little bit. Yeah, see.
I love it because he's just such a, everyman.
Yeah, well, he is.
Yeah.
And that's what's great about the PGA Championship. You have PGA pros who get to play with these guys. A great story there. All right, some phone calls coming up. CB in California. Hey, CB, I told you that you guys would like that golf story. We saw that story, and we thought it'd be fun to bring him to your attention. Hey, CB, what's on your mind?
I'm a wee bit concerned about the Lakers because they've been looking a little atrocious, but I see the format now because they're still in the first seed of the West. So they're doing is reminiscent of what Pat Riley did, with the Showtime Lakers, rest them at the end of the season, which they were fine with. With the extraterrestrial, interplanetary, and spine-tingling performances that the King has bestowed upon us, it's monumental that the Lakers win. Hey, let's face it, the Lakers are a mixed bag of nuts of so many sorts. And with our roster, and basketball is a great sport, hip-hop hooray will be our battle cry because it will be do or die. I'm looking forward to the playoffs and embarking on it. The NBA, the Lakers, are looking to a brand new day. Go.
Yes, CB.
One other thing, I think Zion is a bit overrated. Now, I've been watching some games. I don't know what it is, but he doesn't wow me too much. I don't know if he's must-see TV for me.
All right. Well, thank you, CB. He was riffing a little bit there. Might have been reading a little bit, but he was riffing. I appreciate the effort.
Sounded like somebody cut from the Toddler's Playbook.
Ooh.
There's sort of a lot of it was Todd, I think, is a big fan of, I don't know, some kind of poetry or something. Like if he could say it in a poem, he'd like to a limerick or something, right?
That would be the way to go. Yeah. I found him, oddly entertaining. I could relate to the way he delivered that.
Thank you, Tom.
Whatever that was that he was trying to share with us.
There was a doctor who was quoted talking to The Athletic about Zion Williamson, and he said that Zion is in a race against his own body. If you go watch his Duke highlights compared to now, the difference is profound. in my opinion, according to the doctor, his athleticism and conditioning have regressed substantially. He's less explosive, less conditioned, slower on defense, has already had a portion of his meniscus removed from his knee after an injury, and he's still under close monitoring from the medical staff. Yes, to all of those, but keep in mind, he went home and was out almost 2 weeks. He was quarantined. He went home for a medical emergency, came back, and he was quarantined for 4 days. This is a strange season. The only thing that would make me nervous with this is I was told he was in great shape, getting ready to go to Orlando. And somebody put out a picture where looks like he was in great shape. He doesn't look like he's in great shape. He has an ability to overpower defenders. And what happens, and at his size, he's going to get his shot blocked quite a bit, but he is so quick at getting it back and then, coming right back at you. So you really have to stop him twice. That's, probably the most impressive part of his offensive game is that ability to keep coming at you. And he does. Slower on defense, well, he doesn't play defense. Less conditioned, absolutely. Less explosive, yes. I'd like to see with a full off season and he's, a normal regular season and see how he looks and how he plays. It is going to be an issue. We talked about this before the draft, even after the draft, even after he got injured. If you're going to weigh 285 and be 6'6", and you weigh 285 now, what are you going to weigh at 25? What are you going to weigh at 30? And that's why when we discussed this yesterday, Zion and Luka gives me long-term. Zion does not give me long-term. He might, but he doesn't give me. Luka's going to give you this at 25. He's going to give you this at 30. Because his game is not predicated based on being explosive, being quick. He plays angles. He's going to be a better shooter. He'll probably have a better team around him. But Zion, long-term health is going to be an issue. It'll be an issue every single year. And as he gets older, he's not going to be as explosive. What will his game look like? The greats always add to their game. Jordan stopped being Air Jordan. He'd get you down on the post. Kobe did the same thing. LeBron added to his game. Magic added the set shot. Bird added to his game. They all do. The great ones add to their game. Karl Malone became a better free throw shooter. Like Zion's going to have to be, he doesn't have a jump shot. I think he's a better passer than he's given credit for. I don't know if he's ever going to be a good defender. And at 6'6", 285, yeah, I'd have long-term questions about that. We'll take a break. It's coming up on 19 after the hour. More phone calls on this program. This is the Dan Patrick Show. Hiring can be difficult, but if you're a company that's currently trying to hire, you face new difficulties, from safely reopening your doors to finding the right person for a specialized role. I love this story. Housing Wire can relate. They needed a reporter to cover news stories on the U.S. housing market, so they turned to ZipRecruiter. And then that's how Housing Wire found Alexandra Roja. She had never imagined that she'd get a job during COVID and because hiring was frozen. She created a profile on ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter matched her to Housing Wire's reporter job because her degree and writing skills were a great fit for the role. Housing Wire received her application only 4 hours after they posted the job. Couple of weeks later, Alexandra started her dream career. Let ZipRecruiter help you. Help you hire. And see why 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get quality candidates within the first day. Try now for free. ZipRecruiter.com/Patrick. That's ZipRecruiter.com/Patrick. Good luck. How did you end up in Uncle Drew?
I was in LA. I was doing Matt Barnes celebrity football, flag football game. And then after I got a call from my agent and he said, "Do you want to be in a movie?" And my response was, "Hell yeah, I want to be in a movie. Why would I not want to be in a movie?" It's like, "Okay, well, you got to be in Atlanta tomorrow." I was like, "Oh, damn. All right, here we go." So I took a red eye, didn't get a lot of sleep. They sent me my script via email. I pulled up on set in Atlanta at one of the, I guess it was like a church gym or something like that, somewhere in Atlanta. And yeah, I just went on set, no sleep, a cup of coffee, and got right into it.
Okay, wait a minute. You walk onto a movie set. You got Shaq, you got Kyrie, you got Reggie Miller, Lisa Leslie. Like, what are you thinking?
Oh, what was I thinking? I guess I was thinking, man, I am so damn tired right now. I think that's pretty much what I was thinking.
Well, when I saw you after the movie, I said, I hope Orlando's coaching staff watches the movie and lets you go all Kevin Durant on people. Like your character you're called Casper, and I'm thinking, why don't they let you just play like that, Aaron?
It beats me. A couple of my family members and friends were saying pretty much the same thing. They're like, man, I wish they would let you do this in real life because, you've actually got to show a little bit more of your skill set in this movie. But, it is a movie. But, that's some of the way that I like to play the game. I grew up playing like outside. I grew up playing on courts like that. Maybe not so much like Rucker, but outside and playing. So when I get in circumstances like that, I feel really comfortable. I like having the ball in my hands. I like, facilitating, and then when I get loose, it's tough to stop.
All right, unfortunately no winner today. I guess I stumped the crowd. So we're looking at 12 and 25. The clue for number 12, chicken-loving ray of sunshine. Who likes chicken? Who played for the Rays? I'll tell you, on this date in 1999, Rays third baseman Wade Boggs, who wore jersey number 12, becomes the first Major League Baseball player to hit a home run as his 3,000th hit. How cool is that? You reach 3,000 hits by hitting a home run. That was Wade Boggs for Tampa, number 12 in 1999. Number 25, King of Swing, or is he, is the clue. King of Swing, or is he, number 25. We're talking about Barry Bonds, jersey number 25, because on this date in 2007, Barry Bonds passes Hank Aaron on the all-time home run list, home run number 756. Who do you recognize as the all-time home run king? Is it Hank Aaron? Is it Bonds? Wade Boggs? Barry Bonds. Have a great weekend.
I don't ask much. I don't, especially on a Meat Friday. I have the IT guy, and he's cooking on the Traeger grill. We got the chorizo sausages. We got 2 types of wings. And I always say we wait until around 11:40 Eastern. And I walk out, check on the grills, make sure they're good. I come back into the kitchen, and who has a wing in their hand? McLovin.
I know the 12:15 rule. I didn't know that the 11:40 Eastern rule was set in
We
stone.
unveil it on TV. It's a big unveil, a big reveal.
So nobody knows I was eating a wing?
Yes, they do. We know.
Okay, have you had any of that food today?
I have not had a wing today. And
have you had a sausage?
And I was told, well, it is my show. But I mean, like, if we're gonna.
You got that in your holster?
Yes. Yeah. If we're. Yeah.
I mean, you're wearing the man's name on your chest right now.
Yeah. Alan, the IT guy, says, hey, you should try the chorizo. I said, okay. And he said, let me know if it's too spicy. And I said, chorizo is never too spicy. That was it. I had one piece, and that was it.
How do you know I wasn't doing similar quality control?
Because Alan, the IT guy, didn't say, hey, McLevin, why don't you try the spicy wings here? Now, if he did, then I'll have a problem with Alan, and he'll probably be suspended. No, I'm kidding. Yes, Paul.
Dan, I believe the police would call this entrapment. You put out fresh wings out in the kitchen, and you ask one of us to walk by them. Believe me, if McLovin, if you didn't bust McLovin, I was going elbow deep in that thing of wings.
Oh, I know.
That's entrapment.
I know, but I'm just saying.
Wing trapment.
Wing trapment.
Google it.
Is that what your lawyer would bring up?
Yes.
Your Honor, it was wing entrapment. Okay. By the way, Sidney Crosby's birthday today. I don't. Can anybody guess Sidney Crosby's age?
31.
I don't know his age. I just know it's his birthday.
Oh.
And he can be eliminated from the playoffs on his birthday. Yes, McLevin.
Does his nickname change as he gets older?
The kid?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like somebody whose name is Tommy or Bobby or Jimmy. Like when you get to be 60, are you still Tommy and Bobby and Jimmy? Yes, McLevin.
But Sid is a good old person's name, though.
But not a young person's name.
Yeah, Sid is like a 60-year-old accountant, not a hockey player.
Yes, Todd.
The kid is 33.
33. Okay. 33. The kid. Man, how time flies. All right, some phone calls here. Shane in Idaho is joining us on the program. Shane, good morning. What do you have for me?
I was just wondering how you feel about the Big Sky canceling their season this year.
I'm not surprised. I brought this up a couple of weeks ago that you were going to have smaller conferences, ones that aren't big revenue producing conferences, and they would probably try to go into the spring. And also, if you think about it, if you can get TV eyeballs on your sport, on your program, and you're going to be in March, in February, Friday night game, a Saturday game, and you're going to be on TV, you're still able to, maybe by then we have fans, or at least a portion of your stadium is filled up, and you can pull it off. If you don't think you can pull it off now, then I understand where, like the SEC just put out their safety protocols. You know, they talked about everybody wearing masks, and, you know, so they run down all these requirements that they're going to have for their players. You know, they have the money in the SEC to be able to do this. You know, these other smaller schools, you know, Connecticut canceled. Connecticut was going to lose money. They didn't have a schedule. They had, you know, games against ACC opponents, Big Ten opponents. You know, those conferences are conference-only games. So if they can pull it off in the Big Sky, great. Good luck. I hope they do. Gibbs in Virginia Beach is back. Hi, Gibbs. What do you have for me today?
Allen Iverson, 27.1 points a game. Michael Jeffrey, 24 points a game.
Gibbs is finishing his stat of the day from yesterday.
I appreciate that. Yeah, my boys gave me a lot of guff yesterday for missing the post there, but tried to get it in. They also said I probably need to go back to my original nickname in not exactly Atticus Finch, because they said I wasn't exactly Ethan the stat guy either. But I have a quick funny story and then a question for you. When I was on hold, Marvin came back on and asked Alex, are you there? And then you came on and asked Alex, are you there? And I something was wrong with my phone, I guess, and I thought, man, are they talking about Alex Ness? Because you said you had a golf guy coming on, and I said, man, I could probably riff about Harding Park a little bit, and but I didn't want my Fritzy moment, Fritzy lying moment to come out on national television. So, yeah, Dan, just a quick question. You know, you guys were talking about Kawhi Leonard possibly winning his championship on a third team and LeBron James winning his on a third team. No one's talking about Danny Green winning a third and possibly becoming the next Robert Horry.
All right. Well, thank you, Gibbs. How many titles does Danny Green have? I love watching Danny Green shoot. But does he have a couple of titles? Does he have 2? Did he get those with his Spurs, I think? Did he win one with Toronto? Was he with the Raptors?
Yeah,
Yes.
he won last year and won with San Antonio.
Oh, okay. All right. I still love that line, McLovin, you had for Gibbs when you said you're not exactly Atticus Finch because he's
Yes.
a lawyer. And what kind of lawyer is he?
I think he's in-house for a construction company.
Yes.
I feel bad.
Oh, that was a brutal, brutal diss for Gibbs. But he was a good sport about it. Jeff in North Carolina. Hi, Jeff.
DP, first time, long time. 6 foot, 189. If I had 2 arms, I'd probably be 220 from all the weights I'd be lifting like Fritz. But anyway, I have a very early best and bester of the weekend. The best being Major Championship Golf is finally back on TV. Gives me something to watch. Watched about 12 hours yesterday because even though I watched it all, I watched highlights and reruns. But my bester is my stepdad came home from the hospital yesterday after we nearly lost him. He was at a restaurant, choked on some food, was in cardiac arrest for over 25 minutes, but he came home yesterday, and we're just glad to have him there.
Oh, well, that's great news, Jeff. Thank you. And we can't start doing best and besters on Friday instead of Monday. I don't want this to become a habit here. Yeah, Paulie.
And that's tough to top.
Yeah, it
Gramps
is.
choking on a sandwich and
Yeah.
coming home and making it out of it.
The official NFL opt-out number is 69. But Gronk will play.
Yeah, somewhere he just went.
That's my favorite number. Nice. I think the Bosas and the Gronks could get together, and you wouldn't be able to tell them apart. Like Joey Bosa feels like he could fit right in with the Gronks. But if you're going to hang, like, who's more bro-ish? The Bosas or the Gronkowskis? Like, it feels like a fight could break out at any moment with the Gronkowskis. I think the Bosas might be more chill. Yeah, McLovin.
Where do the Watt brothers fit in that
Ooh.
group?
Okay, if we had, you could pick 2 brothers, and you have to go into the octagon. So I got both Bosas. I got both Watt brothers. Well, you got another one in there, too. So TJ and JJ.
They have a fullback in that family,
Yeah.
right? Those guys are tough.
But Derek can't go in because I can only have 2 brothers that go in because there are only 2 Bosas. Unless their dad goes in. He's a former first-round pick, I think, for the Dolphins. And then you got the Gronkowskis. That feels like a reality show right there. Yeah, Paul.
With the Gronkowski brothers, you're going to get hit in the groin a lot. With the Bosa brothers, you're probably going to go like Jeep shopping. Like they'll go out Jeep shopping together, buy bigger Jeeps. The Watt brothers, you're probably going to go to a charity event and then eat a nice, healthy meal.
Yeah, see.
Off the fields were good-ass dudes.
Good-ass dudes.
Oh, when JJ had his speech there?
Good-ass dudes.
Do we have the audio of that? And off the field, we're good-ass dudes. Okay. Yes, McLovin.
I've seen some lists that are putting TJ Watt in the upper echelon of NFL players.
Yeah, he's going to get paid.
So is he like the new JJ?
He might be better than his brother right now. He might be. Don't tell JJ I said that. Did you see where it came out that Russell Wilson Jr. III referred to himself as Mr. Unlimited a couple of years ago?
What does that mean?
That he can do everything. It's limitless. Total confidence. Mr. Unlimited. Trevor in the Midwest, it says. Marvin put up Trevor from the Midwest. Hi, Trevor.
Hey, bud. Hey. 200 pounds, 6'1". Got a quick story for you.
All right.
So I got a cousin who's an offensive lineman on a team here in the Midwest, and he told me from the get-go when COVID started that they had never stopped working out the whole time. So we had there was an industrial area in our city where they came in and used an abandoned warehouse, and they brought in workout equipment, and they did teams of 12 with personal trainers that were hush-hush to go work them out. And then there was also a couple locations in the city here where they worked out on the field, out in the open. They just didn't wear any team colors. And he confirmed for me multiple times that was going on ever since COVID started, and they never stopped. So, I mean, I don't know. That's making me think that with this whole Michigan-Ohio State deal, it's like everybody was doing it, and whoever's going to get caught and got pictures taken, they're going to get the fingers pointed at them. But, I mean, I think everybody has to be doing it to stay competitive, you know. They can't let their guys fall off, not lifting weights for that many months.
Can I buy spotted cow in your state?
I don't know, Dan.
I think Trevor from Wisconsin is probably joining us on the program. But thank you, Trevor. And I do love spotted cow. Nice little beer that you can only get in Wisconsin. Let me see. What else do we have here? George in Ohio. Hi, George. What do you have for me?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, you were talking about names. My mother and grandmother were still alive. They'd be calling me Georgie.
Yeah.
Always calling me Georgie.
Yeah. I was Danny for a long time with my mom.
Yeah. And I had a nickname in high school. My last name is Blue, so I was Vida. You remember Vida Blue?
Yeah, with the Oakland A's, San Francisco Giants. Loved Vida Blue.
Yeah, went to all high school Vida Blue.
Yeah.
Hey, and kind of responding to the poll question, I was wondering, what do you think is better for the game? If the Lakers win, the Clippers win, I mean, is it so many LeBron fans that would be okay? Or what do you think? It's like the early 90s. The Phoenix Suns are really good, and the Utah Jazz certainly deserved a championship. But Jordan won. Was it, I guess that's two questions. What do you think is better?
All right. Thank you, Georgie. Hey. Ask, answer, ask. It's one of my pet peeves, right, Todd?
About that.
Right, Todd?
Yeah.
One of my pet peeves. You ask a question, then you answer the question, then you ask the question.
I thought it was lovely the way he posed that. But
I'm sure you did. Probably better for the NBA that the Lakers win a title. Because people will talk about it, what it means. Like if the Clippers win, you'll go, wow, great story with Kawhi. The Lakers and LeBron, he's so polarizing to people that if he wins another, now he's got 4 and he won a title on 3 different teams. And I don't know. It feels like that's a story that people will run with for a while. If you had the Milwaukee Bucks win, it would be a great story. That they win one, first time since they had Kareem and Oscar Robertson. If Toronto won again, I mean, they're nice stories, but a story that is larger than the actual NBA would be LeBron winning a title. Here is J.J. Watt with, do you have this yeah, Paulie?
So it's J.J. Watt from Hard Knocks about 5 years ago, and then us adding to what J.J.
Okay.
said.
Last night.
Hey, the philosophy of this squad is off the field, we're good-ass dudes. We're nice guys. We do the right thing. On the field, when you step on the field, you're the baddest on the planet. And together, we're the baddest team on the planet. And that's the way we're going to attack every day. I don't care who walks into our building. I don't care whose building we walk into. We're the baddest out there. Texans on 3. 1, 2, 3, Texans!
It loses a little bit when you hear a grown man going, wee, wee, wee. It's like you're on a roller coaster. Wee!
With your kid on swings. Woo!
Yeah. Off the field, we're good dudes. Yeah, Paul.
We're going to help old effing ladies across the street. We're going to look both ways at the crosswalk like nobody's business. We're going to pay our taxes on time.
And we're going to effing stop at a stop sign. No rolling through that. You hear me?
We're going to have a nutritious, balanced diet like nobody's effing business.
We're going to have 3 effing square meals a day.
We're going to children's hospitals.
Going to church. And we're buying Girl Scout cookies. You effing hear me?
8 effing hours sleep.
Get him.
Let's get him.
Yeah. We're going to effing call our moms. Not exactly the motivational speech that's going to get me ready for battle. man.
Oh, it's great.
Texans on 3. 1, 2, 3, Texans. We played that for J.J. Watt at the Super Bowl. That was like 4 months later. We're like, we should play this for you, just to let you know. All right, we'll take a break. Last call for phone calls, what we learned, what's in store tomorrow, and we will join McLovin in enjoying some wings during this live look-in on the Traeger grill. Yes, Todd?
Our wings are like 18 minutes colder than McLovin, so not really
You know
fair.
what? They just got 20 more minutes colder because you'll wait until noon.
What is that
Yeah.
about?
You're going to sass me here?
Back row crime, I just tried to pull off there.
You're going to sass me a little bit
I did
here.
a little bit.
And you don't know
I
how
wasn't
to.
sassing you. That was a little shot at my friend here that he had a head start.
But
on
you
the
said
wings.
that they're cold, and now you're going to get them later, and now you're going to get them even later than that, Todd. And you would have no idea how to heat these things up anyway.
No clue. You
All
throw it in a
right.
microwave? Is that the way to go?
We're going to take a break here. Back after this. When's the last time you placed a bet on a game?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Me? Oh, I'm not afraid. Let's just.
Was it yesterday?
Let's just say, I mean, log onto the old internet and get things going. I mean, no, who would do that? How do you even do that? I wouldn't know how I would even understand how that transaction happened. I don't know what you're talking about.
Hey, Stanford Steve, he helps you. He's your go-to guy, your middleman.
Oh, he's from down in the valley. They got people down there that take care of these things. You know what I mean?
Have you, what I always you talk about bad beats on your show all the time. And as a former gambler, we always want to tell you when we win. But it feels like now it's almost like this badge of courage to reveal your bad beat, as opposed to, every gambler I would be around, you'd always say, yep, I had them plus the 7, and then you're going, really? Nobody ever tells you about when they lose. But now it feels like there's a little bit more transparency forthcoming.
I feel like I feel like what we've done is we've made it just it's the shared misery makes it more palatable. I think is and also I mean that's everyone has experienced it, and if you're gonna bet, you're gonna lose more than you win in the end anyway. So I think all it is it's like the miserable guy at the corner bar whose girl just dumped him or whatever. You just sort of belly up, sit down, and go, yeah, I remember this gal back in wherever it was that broke my heart. And that's all it is. And it's going to happen. And this weekend, God knows there's so many opportunities and windows with between the football and all the, tournament basketball and pumpkin pie. There's so many ways to have a miserable Thanksgiving, Dan. I mean, you are surrounded by it. So be careful. Tread lightly. Watch where you step.
Thank you, Scott. I can't do it.
Tracy, when you put the tongs down, don't scrape your hands against the wings.
That.
Are there two different kinds of wings or one different?
There's orange, spicy orange, sweet Thai chili. And these are dry.
Okay.
Which one's chili?
Chili, orange.
Okay.
Wow. I wish you could have some, McLeod.
That's good. Tough.
Since you've already had some.
I mean, I did have some already, so I kind of know how good it was.
You could give recommendations.
It's a little.
Yeah, because Todd rolled them around in the.
Oh, we're set for napkins.
Sorry about
that. I spent all the money on wings.
There you go.
No.
I
spent all the money on the
hold
wings.
on. Let me get that there. Be careful. Excuse me.
I blame Tyler.
I will say this. You can't screw up the wings on the Traeger.
Slow cook.
You can't.
Man,
These are really good, McLovin.
Yeah, they sure look good. Where's the mustard? Fine.
I may go no mustard on this because it's chorizo.
Well, I don't want to blame that on Alan because Alan has a couple jobs to do, and so he might.
I just like blaming Tyler.
He forgot about. Yeah, blame Tyler. Tyler screwed up earlier today.
Oh,
What
there
else
we
is
go.
new?
How much time before we?
Minute 30.
I'll be back.
Minute 30.
I'll be back. You know, I should probably try this. Oh,
Wow. Wow.
You are crazy.
nice job, Al.
I'm gonna get a little sausage thing going.
Throw one of those on there. That there.
More of these guys.
Grab some of this.
All right. Party time.
Excellent. That's what I'm talking about.
Party time. That's what I'm talking about.
I'm going to send this out to my best friend in the world, not just the United States, my best friend in the world, my younger brother, Dave, who just turned 60 today. Happy birthday, Dave. I don't know why we do that when you say, oh, he's my best friend in the world. Like there's somebody outside the United States that we have to factor in. He's my best friend in the... Nobody ever says, he's my best friend in the United States. He's my best friend in the world.
Domestic or international?
Yes, Paulie.
I only have one story about your brother Dave, but years and years ago when we were at ESPN, we were in, I think, Detroit where he was working. Me, you, us three went out to dinner, and I was, a new guy. I just gotten promoted, and part of my promotion, they gave me a corporate card, ESPN, and I was like all excited. I knew my little corporate card. I'd take it. I go, hey, look, they gave me a corporate card, and Dave goes, fantastic, and he ordered a big steak and a big shot of whiskey, and I had to buy.
Well, he's in management in radio, so he knows about that corporate card.
He had some fun with it.
Loading that up. Do you know that when we used to turn in receipts, if we'd go out to dinner and you take people out to dinner at the mothership, you always had to say who was out with you. I only did that twice in 18 years there. And both times they flagged it. And they wanted to know what ESPN employees were with me because they were going to dock them per diem. True story. Yes,
I got flagged once for mine back then because Rick Riley bought beers at lunch. And they were like, you can't put beers on your corporate card, and I was like, well, I didn't.
So did Riley buy them, or did he buy them and put them on your card?
No, he bought them and put them on my card.
Well, then he didn't buy them.
Yeah.
He ordered them.
Yeah, all right. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, he ordered them.
Yeah, he ordered. Yeah, Paul.
I got flagged, same thing as Seton, similar. We had a guest in the radio studio at ESPN in New York City, and I bought him lunch, just lunch, not a beer or anything. And like, well, you can't be buying anyone and their brother lunch. I'm like, it was Carl Lewis, one of the greatest Olympians of all time. He was in studio. I bought him like a Caesar salad. It was $9.
And I would be out with other people in management at the mothership, and if they could put it on your expense report. Do you know that I work with a guy? He took his curtains, his living room curtains, and he got them cleaned on the road and put that on his expense report. As God is my witness. So he took down his curtains.
That seems excessive. that might be taking advantage of the policy.
Oh. It's like, oh, what'd you pack? Oh, I got this. Oh, you brought your curtains.
Oh, your drapes. Wonderful.
He got his curtains cleaned on the road. Yes, McLovin.
Did he put them in a suitcase? How did he transport?
Yes. He brought an extra a bag or something there, suitcase.
But every once in a while, you might get a hotel room that doesn't have curtains in the window, so he has it ready.
Well, I thought he might, have one of those strange afflictions that, you have to darken the room, or maybe his eyesight or something, or has problems sleeping. He got his curtains cleaned on the road. All righty. Does anything stand out in those SEC rules that just came out, Paulie?
No, the SEC football rules, they said that coaches would wear masks on the sidelines. They list about 30 different precautionary things with the upcoming season. But we were saying it's more about, hey, full speed ahead.
Yeah.
Here are the things we're going to do when we start playing football in 4 weeks.
But when they say they have to wear a mask, are these just masks like we wear, or is it a mask while you're playing football?
No, it appears it's the staff and the assistant coaches on the sidelines.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know if there was anything that was really groundbreaking there. Final results of the poll question, McLevin. Last call for phone calls.
Who would you bet on, the Clippers or the Lakers? It's actually 53% Clippers now, close to 50-50.
This day in sports history, Paulie.
This day in 1999, the great Tony Gwynn of the Padres got his 3,000th hit, which is tough for me to say. And a reminder that at age 37, Tony Gwynn hit 372 one year.
But as McLevin likes to point out, batting average, overrated.
Yeah, I mean, his on-base percentage was the same as Adam Dunn.
Don't even try that Adam Dunn stuff again.
Hey, sabermetric hero, Adam Dunn.
Who would you rather have, Adam Dunn or Tony Gwynn?
Oh, Adam Dunn 3 times a week. No, I would take Tony Gwynn. But Bryce Harper, by the way, is hitting 250 with a 490 on-base percentage. He walks every time.
Walks are entertaining, man.
Yeah.
But you guys, why is it a walk a hit? I mean, why is it different? It's the same thing. It should be part of your batting average.
But you didn't hit.
Right, but you got to first base. What's the substantive difference? This is the last thing you want to hear on a Friday.
Yeah, I mean, come on. I'm limping to the finish line here. I got wings waiting for me.
I don't.
Chorizo. No, I'll let you at the top of the hour. I'll let you eat. Fritzy got his grimy hands in there and grabbed some wings as well.
I did.
Yeah. Let me see. Anything else I need to mention here? Gary in South Dakota. Hey, Gary, what do you have for me?
Yeah, hello, DP. Love your show. Long-time fan. Say, happy birthday to Dave, too.
All right.
I wanted to throw in a set of brothers we might have neglected. I think that'd be pretty tough in the octagon to be the Kelsey brothers.
Yep, those two. Well, you got one that's crazy, and the other one's Travis. But, thank you, Gary. That's a good suggestion there. You just call it brothers, and then you just have them fight, Todd. What do you think?
That.
That's the reality
That's
show.
workable.
Yeah, something like that. Let's go around the room what we learned on this program, other than my baby brother is 60 years of age.
Best friend in the whole world.
Yes, he is. Not just the United States. I'm including the whole world. Todd, what'd you learn today?
Reggie Miller cannot believe you would critique to his face in studio the all-time NBA three-point scoring leader, Ray Allen, on how to shoot.
Oh, nobody has a better time with that than Seton. He was like, "Oh, you said you're doing it wrong."
You know you're doing that wrong, right? And he looks, "Excuse me?" He's holding a basketball in his hand. Like he couldn't possibly be referring to the thing that I'm holding in my hand.
It was surreal.
One of the top 5 players who's ever picked up a basketball when it comes to shooting.
You did that.
Yep.
Like, what did you just say?
I know. McLovin, what'd you learn?
Reggie's leaning Clippers over Lakers, probably.
Seton, what'd you learn?
Alex Knoll having an all-time weekend.
Yeah, great. It was a great appearance. Paulie?
Local pro Alex Knoll, he should be on TV. He should be a sideline reporter.
Backroom guys have their podcast. They do it every Friday, and we'll have it for you a little bit later on today. What we learned brought to you by LegalZoom. You can start online, network of independent attorneys. They provide advice when you need it the most. They're not a law firm, so you don't have to leave your home. Visit LegalZoom.com today for more information. Talk to you on Monday. Thanks. Be safe this weekend.